got the energy. Yeah, we got the energy. Yeah, we got the energy. Energy. we got the energy.
Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, welcome everybody to the latest episode of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show along with G. Bush and Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull. We got Anthony and Steve on the other side of the glass. Mike's still on vacation. He'll be back tomorrow.
I can't believe
I know Tyvis is offended by Mike being on vacation.
I can't believe Mike.
I thought you was gonna have the rag on the whole time.
No, I can't do that.
I was like, man, hey, shout out to Tyvis. He doesn't play with none of y'all today.
McNuggets lost his mind. Like, this is your fault. Because you wanted to urge people that they should take vacations.
Absolutely.
And whatnot. That's ridiculous.
That's 100%
he
not
need
ridiculous.
to be here with us.
You're the only one.
Do you think he's enjoying what he's doing? Wouldn't he
bet
rather
he is.
be here with us?
Maybe. We'd
He did get to spend time with, his family, Tyvis.
Well, I thought we were here.
It's overrated spending time with them.
I called him. He was in a hotel with his brother. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna smoke my brother. I'm like, man, that's kind of funny.
He met Steve-O
Yeah, I
from
saw that picture.
From what's it called again?
Jackass.
Wild Boys.
Jackass, right, yeah. And so Mike will be back tomorrow. Earl, we had him for one day in studio. Now he's back up in his perch
He was
upstairs.
down here yesterday?
Well, yeah, he was producing yesterday, so he was down here. Now he's gone again.
You know, he got to get his clips up immediately.
He too good.
He's got his, he gave us his Ty Jerome spiel.
Yeah, got his Ty Jerome game off,
and now he's moved back.
He's out of here.
So what's going on with your look today? What you? Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Man, listen.
Black Panthers.
Man, listen. Right now, my name is Kufis Holy Cross.
Fight the power.
Kufis Holy Cross. You know what I'm saying? I felt like
got the brim kicked back.
Yeah,
like
Tyvis said he's got the Sidney Dean look.
You know what I'm saying? I was watching White Man Can't Jump, and I liked that. I was like, man, how Spike Lee get that off at one point in time?
Hey, man, that was the style.
All right, let me ask you this.
I'm gonna bring that all the way back.
Why would he not be able to get that off?
Who? Right now? Today?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody wearing their hats like that.
Oh, I see the hat. I thought you meant the name of the movie.
No.
Ain't nobody wearing the hats like this. So right now, ain't nobody wearing it back. So G. Bush, I gotta come with something people ain't got, man. That's the thing about being a fashion icon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you're an icon, you wear stuff that people can't get off. They just be looking like.
It is about taking risks.
Now let me ask you this. This is an important question. Who is hotter? Rosie Perez, who played Woody Harrelson's girlfriend in the movie.
Still.
Or, I don't know the name of the actress, but the woman that played Wesley Snipes' wife in the movie.
Oh, Rosie.
She was low-key pretty hot.
Rosie.
She was. Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
I saw her
Not
at the
Rosie.
fight.
Rosie O'Donnell.
You said Rosie O'Donnell.
Hey, you know what? In a weird way, I used to be like, man, Rosie ain't bad.
No,
Rosie O'Donnell
I'm with
bad.
you.
Like,
Every time I think about Wesley Snipes' wife in that movie, I
Yeah.
think of Boys in the Hood. She was the mom on Boys in the Hood.
Was she really the same woman?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So there's
Trying to picture that.
So there's like the older Jamie Lee Curtis, I thought was hot. Not
She
the
was.
younger one, the older one.
I think the younger one was hot, and then the
You
older
like
one was
the
hot in a
older
different
one
way.
than the younger one?
Yeah.
I think they're both hot because if did you ever see Trading Places?
Yes.
When she played a hooker in that, and she was hot in that.
I used to think Glenn Close was kind of hot.
Back in the day, she was.
But older Glenn Close.
Oh,
I've
Yeah,
never
I don't
looked
know if
at
I'm with
Jamie
you on
Lee
that
Curtis and said, yeah.
Yeah. Who else? There's a girl. You ever watch Country Wayne?
Country Wayne?
With Rochelle? With Ro?
I like her.
Now-
She's solid.
Now, by the way, what we were talking about one of the characters from White Men Can't Jump, but now that reminded me because you said Boys in the Hood. What happened to the guy that played the main character in that? Like, he hasn't done anything.
Ice Cube?
No, he wasn't the main character.
Oh, you talking about Trey?
Trey, yeah. Like, what
Cuba
happened to that
Gooding
actor?
Jr.?
No,
Ain't
that's
he
not
in
Cuba
jail?
Gooding Jr.
Yes, it is.
It
Am I
is.
confusing him with somebody else?
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are.
Wait a second.
Looking it up right now.
It's Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yes,
for
Cuba-
sure.
yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
you're
that
talking
is.
about.
And Lawrence Fishburne is his dad.
Laura, I love Lawrence Fishburne.
What is he
You know what? You know,
He said what happened to him. I'm like, you
no,
ain't been
okay,
watching the
it's not.
news?
No, the other guy, the one who played Ice Cube's brother.
Oh, Morris Chestnut.
Was that Morris Chestnut?
What is wrong with you?
I didn't realize it was Morris Chestnut.
Ricky Baker is Morris Chestnut.
Oh my God, boy!
I didn't know that. He looks a lot
Wait a
different.
minute. You know how we always talk about who's
Yeah.
the blackest white guy?
Yeah.
You losing a lot of stripes today.
Oh, man, I am.
And
I
the movie. We have to know this.
I know.
To attend family.
But you got to
reunions,
admit,
cookouts.
he looks a lot different now.
Yeah, because he's bald.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I didn't
Morris
realize that
Chestnut,
was
he bald, he
it
got
was
a
a long
goatee.
time ago that I saw that movie. That's an old movie.
I mean, all of those people that was in that movie really, they all over the age of like 60. So like,
yeah, they're old now. Yeah.
like Lawrence Fishburne.
Said that's Morris Chestnut. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't realize that was Morris Chestnut.
Yeah, that was
I
him.
dropped the ball on that. You're
Hey,
right.
it's all
I lose
love,
some.
Bill.
I lose some credibility points there.
Yeah, it was like, man, he was like, we was like, Cuba Gooding? He's been in a lot
Yeah.
of things
I'm
since
about
then.
to say he done messed up a couple of times.
No. Listen, he's out here looking crazy though right
Yeah.
now.
Who, Morris Chestnut?
No.
Oh, Cuba Gooding?
Last time I seen him, he
didn't
was
know that.
he was getting arrested with a smile on his face.
There's rumors of him and his alleged behavior at these Diddy parties.
Uh-oh.
He part of it too. I tell you what, boy, when them documents.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
So hold on. Let
Yeah.
me tell you this. So you know you done made it when they got conspiracy theory videos about you.
Okay.
So I'm on the internet and this conspiracy video comes up to me.
Mm-hmm.
And this video pops up and he's like, yeah, this guy Garrett Bush right here.
Oh, you was on.
Conspiracy
it.
theory about you?
Yes. He's like, he has a panda symbol. You know what panda symbolism stands for, right?
it?
I said, what is panda symbolism? He's like, yeah. He's won some awards. He's been in magazines, but he has that Garrett thing too. With people with their first name Garrett. I'm like, I don't know that.
I didn't know there was a conspiracy theory there.
Then he was like,
Who is this guy, by the way?
I have no clue.
Oh.
But it's on. It's like I'm like, oh, this is.
So what does the panda supposedly mean?
So the panda is supposed to be like some pedophilia or something.
What?
Oh, you got to change that up.
Taking back the panda.
Like then,
Taking it back.
Then he's like, hey,
we got
he
to
has the
escape
first-
them allegations.
He has the first name Garrett and the last name Bush. You already know his first initials, last name is the same as the president's, George Bush and his son. By the way, barbershops are mostly for fronts and nefarious activity.
Is that true?
Where did you see
Gee,
this
where
at?
did you find this?
It was on the internet. It's on YouTube.
That is crazy.
The YouTube kid.
Yeah, that does mean you made it. When people start we've become a country of conspiracy theories. That's all we are now.
I showed my mom.
Facts don't matter anymore.
My mom,
my
mom was mortified. She was like, my dad was cracking up. He's like,
it is pretty funny.
He said, look at this. He's like, he has phallic symbolism.
I need to see this.
I said, yo,
Man.
do not. Do not blow listen. Do not blow this guy up. Don't go looking for it.
Now everybody's looking
I'm
for it. Too
definitely
late.
Oh Lord, just don't.
Too late.
It's too late. But
that's funny.
whatever it is, conspiracy theories are great.
All right. Well, or they're terrible, but who knows?
Before G announces he's running for office, let's get a read in here, guys. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get $5. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today.
All right, a lot to get to on today's show. Obviously, it's funny because we were talking about earlier how the Cavs it seemed like we're playing every day or every other day.
Right.
And so it always felt like there was something new to talk about with the Cavaliers. And now they've only played one game in the last 5 days.
I know, and it stinks.
And they still don't play tonight. They'll play tomorrow. So we'll get into plenty of that. Also, Aditi's going to join us at 11:30. Mary Kay Cabot's going to join us at noon. And it is Michigan week.
We do not say that word.
Oh, stop.
We don't speak of that word.
Are you someone that will put that red X over every M that you tweet?
Yes, but
You
I
really
don't,
are?
I'm not going to tweet. So
All right, fair enough. Well, you tweet sometimes. What are you talking about?
every now and again, when I
You
got
just tweeted
when I
yesterday.
got some stuff on my mind, I do. But to me, it's just I'm just retweeting stuff that I'm on and stuff like that.
You said something on Twitter in the last. I remember seeing a tweet of yours pop up recently in the last day or two. So
Or what did I say?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'll just
But
be
you
saying,
were there.
I just be saying stuff.
But
I was talking about Cross.
oh yeah, don't tell me about that. I haven't started it yet.
it's good.
You like it?
I
It's good.
saw that a couple times,
I got like 3 episodes to go, and I'm locked in.
All right, you're locked in.
But we talking about the Cavs.
Yeah, I got. I can go on about that. I haven't started yet. But anyway, let's get into it. Yesterday, well, not yesterday. On Sunday, during the pregame show, Kenny Atkinson. Who did he say this to? By the way, was this?
This tidbit of information came from NBA insider Earl the Pearl, because Earl's been covering the Cavs games with Mike now.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Good.
NBA insider Earl.
So
Pearl, I
Earl,
like it.
according to as you go, NBA insider Earl the Pearl, Kenny Atkinson said in pregame that his install of the offense that he eventually wants to run once it's all said and done is only 65% complete. So if they're playing this well now, what 16? What are they 17-1? 17-1.
Yeah, 17-1. No, 16-1.
No, they're 17-1.
All
They're
right.
17.
17-1.
Okay.
If they're playing this well with only 65% of the offense in, should we anticipate even a bigger jump when they get the rest of this 35% in? What do you think?
I would say yes, because at some point, teams are going to figure out what the Cavs are doing. I mean, the Celtics did a really good job of just running the Cavs off the three-point line. So you got to be.
Does anybody else have the talent to stop the Cavs from doing it besides Boston?
Have the talent to do that? I was thinking the Warriors, no. Lakers, no. Milwaukee, no. Sixers,
Milwaukee's
no.
done. They got Jimmy Haslam.
The Knicks should be able to do it. You don't think the Knicks?
I don't know.
I know we beat them.
Let's see. I mean, they
got to gel. Once they gel, I think that'll
I'll be interested to see them play the Knicks again later in the season.
Who else in the East?
Nobody. I mean, Orlando's got the third best record.
Yeah, but they doing it without Paolo right now.
But they're playing well without him.
They
won 8 of 9.
I would say yes. I mean, just go high on everything. Like, if they try to screen you, just go high on the screen and give up the 2. And hopefully you got to have a rim protector down there.
Right.
The
Knicks do.
It's kind of what they did. Like, they just set the Cavs off the 3, made them not take threes and go do layups, and they got to force them to try to make it in contact. And if you miss, that's a great defensive possession.
Gee, you buying what Kenny Atkinson's selling, that there's still more levels to this offense?
Of course. There's always more levels to it, because at one point in time, people are going to stop your first options. Your first option is not going to be always ready to go. So, when you look at what they're about to do, they need to have back screens. They need to have some other go-to moves that really can set them up to get them to a point where if you want to run us off the line or you want to take our first or second option away, we have other things that we can go to. And I think it's going to be important. I still want to see Evan Mobley. For me, I want to see him create more at the elbows. I want to see him get the ball and be a facilitator a little bit more because that will set Darius Garland up to get the ball around different places where he can score. And the thing about Darius Garland that is most difficult is because he is a slight frame guard, right? And I'll tell you the difference between Kyrie Irving and Darius Garland. The reason I'm not saying this to compare the two, but some people will argue, well, Kyrie Irving can get this off. It's not necessarily guards. Smaller guards can't get it off. The difference between Kyrie Irving and Darius Garland is around the basket, Kyrie can finish with the best.
Kyrie,
one of the best
Kyrie
is
ever. The best under 6'5" finisher in the game of basketball.
I would put him even with
one of the best of all time.
That's what I'm saying. Under 6'5", he's the best finisher I've ever seen.
Even if his layups, his layups is almost as high percentage as dunks. So
you know why he learned how to do that, right? Because he said he played with a backboard that didn't have a full backboard, so he had to learn how to spin the ball to get angles off of the pieces that was on the backboard.
That's some next level.
It is. It's
that's
crazy.
Three-dimensional
That's how he
checkers.
learned.
Where was he doing that? He went to a fancy schmancy private school.
He said that's how he really learned how to finish. Is that the backboard that he played on didn't have a full
I know somebody that
backboard.
went to the same high school as him, not at the same time, but very fancy.
Maybe,
now, I don't know before that.
Maybe it was. Yeah, I said maybe it was at the park or something.
You know good and well. They don't be having. If you got a basketball court in your driveway, did you have one when you was growing up?
Do I look rich?
Yeah, look. See, look. I had two.
Did I have a basketball court in my driveway?
I had two parents that worked, and I still didn't get no basketball court.
So you know what we did?
I
did the thing where my mom actually got me a hoop. But, I didn't have, the patio for it. So I had to roll it into the street.
Oh, you had the cul-de-sac.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't in the cul-de-sac, though. It was just literally in the middle of the street. And you got to call motion when the cars is coming. Everybody get out the way.
We would just scream out, car!
Yeah, that was another thing, too. That's
we'd be playing, touch football in the street.
So I said, man, I ain't broke
running
up
into cars.
I ain't broke up a game in the street yet. When I'm driving now, it ain't no football, no curveball, no basketball,
none
of that no more.
This is off the beaten path because it's next to Thanksgiving, so bear with us, Anthony. I'm gonna tell you what. If you had back in the day
Turkey bowl football,
that turkey bowl until somebody almost died. Two people almost died. Literally. They was we had spinal cord injuries, bro. But if you get you a Nerf Turbo, do you know what type of 5-star quarterback you are with any Nerf? I mean, you're checking it down, bull. I mean, you get to the top of the drop. Yeah. That Nerf, and don't let you have the Nerf Turbo whistle. That boy get to whistling, boy.
It make you feel like you spinning that thing.
I'm out here spinning it. I'm like, bro, you know what? I was like, man, you know what? I might not even want to put my hand in the ground no more. I need to. They're like, no, that's the Nerf Turbo.
You would have been like the Jared Lorenzen of Ohio.
Listen, they already knew. Yeah. I was really throwing that deep out.
Yeah.
Right by that parked car.
Now, when you guys played in the Turkey Bowl, in your Turkey Bowl, was that tackle football, no equipment?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we did. See, we had two games. We would play the Turkey Bowl, and now I can say this, but you guys can't say this because it's insulting if you're not Jewish. We would have the Jew Bowl. Mm-hmm. That would be on Christmas Day.
Okay.
Wow.
Now you didn't have to be Jewish to play, but it was mostly because we had nothing to do on Christmas Day. All we do is all you could do was go to the movies or eat Chinese food. Otherwise, there was nothing else for us to do on Christmas Day. So we've created the Jew Bowl.
Makes sense.
So look, man.
But everybody was welcome. We didn't discriminate.
Well, look, back then y'all had plays. Kenny Atkinson got plays.
That's right. Yeah.
Bringing it back.
The last time I seen the Cavs against the Raptors, it was one particular thing that happened in that game with Evan Mobley that I was like.
I brought up something yesterday. I wonder if it's the same thing. Go ahead.
It was in the third quarter. He gets a rebound, goes up and dunks it.
Yeah.
I said, That's what I just started smiling, man.
Yeah.
I really
Well,
sat there and just started cheesing.
To me, there were two other things that I saw in the first half I mentioned yesterday, but because you brought that up, I'll bring it up again. One, he got a defensive rebound and then just went. He just took the ball down.
He had like 2
went coast
blocks
to
in that
coast,
game.
and he ended up missing the shot, but I just loved the aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And then also in this late second quarter, there was a play where he went up, missed it, grabbed the rebound. Went up, missed it, grabbed the rebound. I think he took like 3 or 4 shots. Eventually he got fouled. It's not even about the fact, like, you're going to miss shots sometimes, whatever. It's just all three of those plays.
Aggressive.
It's just the aggressiveness that we never saw from him or almost never saw from him on offense. Remember last year against Boston in the playoffs when he played much better, and you're like, where's that been?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's just carried what he did against Boston in the playoffs into this whole season.
Did he have a beard last year, or is this the first year with the beard?
I don't remember.
He had a beard. He had a beard before. He had a beard. He had a little.
Because I was gonna credit it to the beard. I was like, that man that grew a beard, and he on some grown man stuff now.
Do you feel like they need that 65% to beat the Celtics, like that other 35? So the 35 he talked about, they haven't put it in. It's only 65% done.
Yeah.
Do they need that other 35 to beat the Celtics?
No.
I think ultimately to beat the Celtics in the playoffs, they're going to have to play their best. Like, I think I think the Cavs are now good enough where they could beat other teams without their A-plus effort. But I don't think they can beat Boston without their A-plus effort.
Well, I mean,
and by the way, if they beat, time will tell. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. If they beat Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm going to pick them to win the finals no matter who they play, including Oklahoma City.
I think. Wait a minute, don't they play Boston again soon?
Sunday.
Okay.
At home, yeah. Sunday and then Denver Wednesday next week.
Joe Mazzulla is really good. Like, he dude know what he doing. So
which is so funny because like the expression on his face always is like, I don't know what's happening.
He
here.
just know what he doing.
Yeah.
So
I give him
to
credit.
answer your question, yes, they're gonna need that other 35. But like I say, when you think about that last Boston game, I mean, DG played his worst game of the season. They lost
the season.
They lost.
Might have been his worst game of his career.
3 points. They lost, and I'm not expecting Boston to hit 20 whatever shots, 3-pointers a game. Like at some point, the Cavs need to do back to them, run them off the 3-point line.
Yeah. Now they're going to have Porzingis back.
Porzingis, yeah,
he's finally back.
Yeah,
but the Cavs were missing some key like they were.
They missed everybody. They had like 3
they had
players.
no LeVert, no Wade, and no Okoro. We're all out.
Yeah, Okoro, they're gonna need him for the defensive side. I'll be
right. He's a guy. As much as we've been critical of Okoro at times, I certainly have been.
You need his defense.
He's an important guy against Boston.
And if he hitting them shots like he's been doing,
right? They're gonna need him. Against
it's gonna
Boston,
be interesting to see him on Sunday because I know Porzingis just got back, but he'll be in the lineup, and those bench players should be back. So it'll be like an interesting matchup.
I don't want to. And we talked about something the other day. I don't want it to get to this, but I'm starting to feel, and I'm resisting myself from going there. Remember when the Cavs would play, and the Cavs before were so good because they would just belt race people. And then if they walked through the first 3 quarters, they would come back in the fourth quarter and win.
Yep.
And the only games that we paid attention to was the Golden State Warriors.
You're talking about the LeBron years.
The LeBron years.
Okay, yes.
So we only paid attention, and we only played Golden State twice a year.
Maybe a couple other teams, but not many.
But it wasn't like...
Yeah, there wasn't that Eastern Conference team that you were worried about.
So for me, it's like I'm watching them play, and it dawned on me as I'm watching Toronto, as I'm watching them play some of the other teams like the Pelicans and throughout that schedule, I'm starting to look at it like, yeah, they can't beat these dudes. Like, they can't
talk about that. They can't beat the Cavs?
They can't beat the Cavs.
No.
And
we came into this season thinking the Cavs would be
like
third or fourth in the East.
Good like they were last year.
And it's like, it's them in Boston and then everybody else.
Right. Well, I mean,
it's
it
Boston,
is right now.
Cavs, everybody else.
It is right now. You know, who knows? I think the Knicks could get in that mix.
No, well,
they had a lot of new players at the beginning of the year.
They messed, for some odd reason, Mikal Bridges switched his jumper, which I don't understand. He can't hit trades no more.
Yeah.
Now the trade looks terrible.
That is weird.
And I'll tell you what, when they had DiVincenzo going, Hart, I was like,
right. But let's see what they look like at the end of the year.
You gotta give them.
And listen, I'd still rather play any other team than the Knicks in the semifinals. So if the Knicks are going to end up being the 3 seed, I'd rather be the 1 and have to play Orlando or whoever else is going to be the 4 seed and let the Celtics play the Knicks.
Oh, yeah. That's what we want. We got to get to a point where that's where we need to be at. We need to be at where, we're not worried about playing one of those top seeds. Let them deal with the Knicks at the 3rd seed if they get to it. You know what I mean?
But I've gone from being the most negative guy about regular season basketball to having more fun watching the Cavs. This is the most fun I've had watching regular season basketball, I think, since I was a kid.
Wasn't it a year? What year was it? Maybe it was last year. No, it couldn't have been. Has it ever been a year where all 3 sports teams did well?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Last year? No.
Because the Guardians did make the postseason last year.
That's true.
2021? Was that the year?
I would say it was a year that I felt like they all made the playoffs.
No, the Browns the Browns made the playoffs 2020 season. The playoffs started in 2021.
That counted.
Yeah, I can't remember now. But the Cavs didn't make the playoffs, did they? No.
They may have been in the play-in that year. So I don't remember what year they were.
I don't know. Well, you had this past year because, or this year, I guess, because the Browns played in the playoffs in 2024, January of 2024.
Yep.
And the Cavs were in the playoffs in 2024, and the Guardians in the playoffs in 20. But now that's going to end with the Browns obviously not going to make the playoff.
I guess. Yeah.
But they haven't. I think all 3 teams have only made the playoffs in the same year twice, I want to say. And that's mostly been because of the Browns having to make it. I mean,
the Browns. The
Guardians have been pretty consistently good since the mid '90s, and the Cavs, had 11 years with LeBron, and now they've had a good run here and had some decent teams in the obviously in the '90s.
Could you imagine what the city would have been like in 2016 if we were in the World Series, the finals, and the playoffs for the football?
Yeah,
it would have been crazy.
You had 2 great teams, and then you had the Browns, who were the worst team in football.
It's usually
it was a great sacrifice. The Browns made a sacrifice that year.
Right. And
the Browns made a business decision.
Man, the Browns have made a lot of sacrifices.
Man, to put a wrap on it, the offense thing, I also think we got to kind of chill a little bit because it's like, at the end of the day, it's about hitting shots.
Yeah.
Like, you could have your offense, you can run all the offense in the world, but you can't, our basketball coach in high school used to always tell us, you can't end a possession correctly unless you score, and you can't stop a possession on defense unless you get a rebound.
Right.
So it's about, yes, we want that ball movement, and yes, we want people to be, moving around and at their correct spots, but the most important thing is, are you still shooting the ball well? And when you do get those looks, are you knocking them down?
It just can't be the whole team not shooting the set well.
Right.
Yeah. Like even in the Celtics game, DG didn't shoot well, but everybody else still was doing their part. And they still had
the flow of the offense wasn't the same.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. What I'm saying, like, it can't be Darius, Donovan,
sure,
and Ty Jerome. Like, if those 3 just have an off night, we ain't got a shot.
And I think, and truthfully to me, and I tell Mike this all the time, I think the Cavs have to play more than good against the Celtics because to me, it's a bad matchup. It's just the guys that they have.
It's too big.
Drew Holiday is physical. They got those guys on Darius Garland that make it very difficult for him to get to the rim. When Porzingis comes back, they're going to have another guy that's, you think we got one. They got another guy out there that's 7'3". That can shoot threes and space the floor. So
I truly think that when it comes to beating the Celtics, I think you need like that dominant Shaq type center. Because you need to be able to guarantee, like,
it's only one Shaq.
Well, but I'm not. I'm saying, like, I think that it has to be a big Mobley or Jared Allen type game. Like, on defense, we got to force them to make 2s, and then on offense, if they're gonna force us off the line, and we gonna try to 5 out the thing like they trying to 5 out us, and you getting 1-on-1 in the paint, that person got to score.
Right.
The key to me, I've always said the key was, you can't let bums kill you. You can, and he's not a bum, but you can't let
The other.
Al Horford.
Al Horford.
Al Horford, man.
This is like
He played so well that night.
He hit like 4 threes. I was like, man, this man ain't did that in 10 years.
You know he's old.
He is old.
And guess what? That's what he wants.
He
Like, you can't have that I dare you to shoot type thing.
But they got a lot of got a lot of open looks.
Open looks.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You talk about, well, you got to make your shot, sure, but the more open looks you get, if you work to the open look more often than not, you're going to get a higher percentage shot. You're going to make a higher percentage more often than not.
This is not Al Horford. They can't. Lazy closeouts will kill you. You cannot.
But you know why they're doing that. The reason that they have to do that is because our guards is not big enough for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So when they drive, somebody got to collapse to help. So and they kicking it to her. If I'm the person that's checking out Horford, I'm like, I'm gonna just let him. I'm gonna live with that shot.
No,
that's what's happening.
Well,
maybe for the first 2 or 3.
no,
that's what happened in the first matchup.
5.
But
no,
listen.
That's why you need a core.
As good as the Cavs are, and maybe they're the second best team in the NBA. Maybe they'll be the first by the end of the year, second, third. I mean, whatever. They're top 5. There may come a point where, and I don't know what they have to trade to get anything, but maybe they need one more piece just to beat the Celtics. They may just need one more piece.
Who you willing to part ways with?
I don't want to part ways with anybody. That's the problem. Like, maybe it's a.
How tall is Karis LeVert? Hey, he like 6'6".
I don't know.
Look up.
like
We can't just everybody just be under 6'4". Like this is ridiculous.
They have to change. They have to.
He's 6'6", Tyvis.
They have to drastically change the approach in which they're going. If Jason Tatum wants to get to the rack and hit twos, okay, because at least that's wear and tear.
Right.
You could get fouled. He got to go convert to free throws. Have you ever put it to you like this? When you playing basketball, you've been playing 1s and 2s, right? Mm-hmm. And you're trying to finish a game in 21 or 33 or whatever you playing.
You got to hit a certain.
You got to hit
33. You got to hit exactly 33. Or are you going back to 28? I think it is.
When you done been dribbling and you trying to get to the rack. People get tired, and you know what the bailout shot is? I'm pulling up. I'm shooting threes. Like, at least I will take the 2 for a 3 any day.
But the problem with that, G, is Darius and Donovan are 6'1". They and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is 6'7".
So they're gonna have to get 50.
Even if
50 on layup.
Even if you do this, they just.
But I'm fine with them two. If them two want to get 80 points. Cool.
Oh, but everybody else.
But you can't let Hauser get 17. You let Pritchard get 15. Then Al Horford hit 4 threes.
And Al Horford's got his AARP card.
He's out here hobbling up and down the court. And by the way, make him guard you.
That's what I said.
Make him guard you.
Whoever he checking, he getting the ball and he going to work.
Going to you. He's supposed to be barbecue chicken down there, bro. You got to go to work. I'm forcing the switch, and it's on. It's popping, and you got to make him guard you the whole game. Because now what he doing? All he's sitting help side defense. Yeah, Al Horford. I'm gonna sit down here and get me some blocks. Al Horford.
But are they playing? Okay, see, I wasn't really locked into this. Was he in the starting lineup? I don't think he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he's starting.
Okay, now that Kristaps is back.
They probably.
I don't know.
See, that's what I'm saying.
See, now that Kristaps is back.
I'm going to look at it. I think he played last night, didn't he?
Kristaps did, yeah. He 100% played last night. But now that Kristaps is back, like, he ain't in the starting lineup. Can't be.
Everybody got to
all right, let's see.
There's no way.
So the Celtics destroyed the Clippers last night, 126-94.
Dang.
And my bad eyes.
My eyes going on.
Yes, Porzingis was starting, and Horford didn't play. Coach's decision. So I don't know.
Who started?
It was Tatum, Porzingis, Holiday, White, Brown. That's probably their starting lineup. I think.
Is that 4 or 5?
That's 5. Tatum, Porzingis, Holiday, White, Brown.
That's got to be the starting 5.
Yeah, that's the 5.
Yeah.
So that means that when
that's a rough lineup.
So when they play in the Cavs, is Jared Allen in the lineup?
That's a rough. He has to be.
Okay.
So
we'll get back to.
So he's checking Kristaps at the 3.
Well, let's leave it there for now, guys. We'll get back to the Cavaliers later. It's time to
tricky.
talk some NFL. We got a triple header, of course, coming up on Thanksgiving Day. Aditi Kinkhabwala of CBS Sports is going to join us in a second.
Yeah,
First,
before
Anthony.
we bring in Aditi, guys, I want to remind you, time is our most precious commodity, so don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. How can you spend it wisely to improve yourself? Our sponsor today, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free online courses, including Constitution 101, the meaning of and history of the Constitution, Introduction to Free Market Economics, The Great American Story, A Land of Hope, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Republic, and many more. All you got to do is go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockedon to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/lockedon to register. hillsdale.edu/lockedon. Go check out the free courses.
All right, Aditi is with us now. Hello, Aditi. How are you?
How was the Patriots?
Morning, my
player?
friends. How are you? Wait, I'm
Good.
sorry. I just talked over you.
How was the Patriots player last week?
The Patriots player? Oh, on the phone.
She remember she got off.
Remember,
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
that's right.
on y'all because I don't even remember. I think it was Christian Barmore that I was talking to, who's a great story, by the way. They found blood clot. Do you guys know who Christian Barmore is?
I know his name, but I don't know his story.
I don't know his story.
Okay, so defensive lineman. He is the highest ever paid Patriots player, not named Tom Brady. Got the biggest contract extension ever given to anyone other than Tom Brady by the Patriots in the spring. And then all of a sudden during camp, he was just getting really unnecessarily or oddly exhausted. And he shouldn't have been that tired. It was weird. He goes to the trainers, and the trainers discover that his right calf is way bigger than his left calf. He didn't even notice that. And what it was is that there were blood clots, and the blood clots had traveled all the way up into his lungs and were trying to get at his heart. But because he has such a big heart, the heart was sort of repelling these blood clots. So basically, he's been working his way back from these life-threatening blood clots, and he's now played 2 games. So anyway, so I was talking to him about his first game back and how he feels and the journey and all of that. So yes, thank you for remembering, Tyvis. It was a great story. Unfortunately, not a great story for the Patriots in Miami.
That
What'd
is
you
a
say?
good story. I said it's a good job out of Tyvis because we had no clue what he was talking about when he first asked me that.
Tyvis
she
pays
was like
attention to me.
she was
Unlike
like the
anybody
Patriots
else
player.
in my life, at least he listens to me.
Yeah, he did.
I want to ask an educational story. When like this is a cultural question. What do you cook for Thanksgiving? Do you have like a traditional dish that you cook every Thanksgiving, or do you guys do traditional Thanksgiving?
No, well, we're a mixed family because my husband and my son eat, as my daughter calls them, murdered animals. But my daughter and I don't. So we will, I think Matt will handle the turkey, and I will do all of the traditional sides that my son wants and that my daughter will eat too. But not like green bean casserole and mashed potatoes, but I mean something with green beans, something with butternut squash, something with Brussels sprouts. But the main dish for my daughter and I, you can make a vegetarian stuffing. Okay. But I don't know, you know what? The truth is I don't know how much my son is into stuffing, so we may not. We have a neighbor across the street who does a massive goose and turkey and a Southwestern stuffing and all that. So she shares her food. With Nico and Matt, with my son and my husband. Yeah. But Kaya this year has asked for the main dish to be a lasagna that I make. Last year, the main dish for us was an eggplant parm. Yeah.
Oh, so you
but then
all
the sides you expect.
I like that.
Yeah.
We are having a really weird Thanksgiving. We have some friends, some family friends coming, and we're getting ribs and cornbread from Sweet Pork Wilson's.
Okay.
Woo! We're getting fried chicken from Giant Eagle, the most underrated fried chicken out there.
Oh, by the way, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm getting some points back.
Yes,
let's go.
Underrated.
No, Bull lost because he said he don't like wings.
I do like wings. I just don't like them as much as other people do.
Yeah.
It's not, but
Giant Eagle?
Anyway, and then Liz is making, then we're having some traditional, Thanksgiving sides, but
yeah, but
I
see,
love
here's
turkey.
the thing. I think Thanksgiving yes, it's about like eating and the bounty of the feast. But
Yeah.
does it really matter what the feast is? Like, if you don't love mashed potatoes, why do
Right.
you have to have mashed
No,
potatoes
you
on
don't.
the table?
You shouldn't.
And if
no,
you
that-
prefer fried chicken to turkey, then why can't you just have the fried chicken instead of the
Exactly.
turkey? You know, like,
A lot of
why are
times-
people telling us what we have to eat on
It's
any given
ridiculous.
day?
There's been a lot of years we've done prime rib because I love prime rib.
We are now. Bull told me, used to tell me that, and we are now morphing in the black community. Like they take your card if you don't have certain sides and dishes.
Well, yeah.
But we
Really?
What don't you
Right.
have?
we don't got macaroni and cheese.
I'm about to walk off
Look-
the set. Get off me. Get off
sorry.
me. Get off me. Get off me.
I didn't mean to.
Now, you don't even. You shouldn't even lay it off with that.
Oh, my
You should have
God.
slid that in somewhere else.
Even I'm having
Mac and
macaroni and
cheese?
cheese.
I apologize. I'm going through some stuff. Please.
You know what's so awful? I can make an unbelievable mac and cheese from scratch. Like the
Yeah.
whole thing, real cheese, real fresh. I can even like squeeze in pureed butternut squash or something that makes it like extra healthy, and it'll be so good and so gooey. And my daughter likes that fake processed Kraft mac and cheese.
Easy Mac.
The Easy Mac. Oh my gosh, gee, she likes the Easy Mac, which
Easy
is even
Mac.
worse than the
That's so
That's
funny
not-
because
mac
my
and cheese.
daughter is the same
But
way.
that's not
What is that
uncommon.
powder? What is that powder? It's got to be crap. Like
No,
there's
it's
something
awful.
in that powder.
It's awful.
Oh, I know.
But
It's
kids,
awful.
all kids, I mean, most kids are like that. That's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I will say this though, Bull, and you know my kids are actually great eaters. I'm very lucky. There's an Indian dish that I make that's total comfort food. I don't know what to call it other than like a healthy porridge. It's basically yellow lentils, brown rice, and a ton of vegetables. It goes in the Instapot and it's
yeah.
like a porridge. It's the healthiest thing that you can eat. My kids both love it. Yesterday, my son says to me, he goes, it's called khichdi. My son says to me, Mommy, I think you should make khichdi because it's probably time we ate something healthy. Because
look
when
at
Mommy's
this.
gone on the
You got some
weekends,
good kids.
Yeah.
yeah, when
Most
Mommy's
kids
gone
do
on
not
the
care about
weekends,
that.
they're eating pizza. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nuggets.
And eating pork.
By the way, last food thing. I make actually an Indian meal.
What you do?
Shocking. right there.
Really?
What?
Chicken
Get
tikka
out.
masala.
Ooh, Matt
Is it
loves
very
chicken
good?
tikka masala.
I
Aaron,
was
eat that?
expecting Aditi say that's too mainstream.
Is that too mainstream?
No, not at all. I
gets
mean, if again, this is one of those things. If you love it, then who cares how many
Yeah.
people eat it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. It's
that's
it's
silly.
basically a very spicy. Everything, all Indian food is spicy, pretty much, right? I mean,
it can be. It just
Yeah.
you really can adjust the spice on
That's
anything.
true.
I think that's one of those misnomers. You know,
my
it doesn't
son
have
loves
to be super spicy.
spicy food. It cannot be spicy enough for him. We had a team party at Buffalo Wild Wings. This
got the
weekend.
Reapers, didn't he?
He got the Reaper wings. He and only two other teammates out of 60 people there, was him and two other kids were the only ones to try it, and he had no problem. But then he accidentally touched his face,
Oh,
and so his face was on fire.
Like-
He had no
Fire,
problem
yeah.
eating it, but then when he touched his face,
I had the Reapers, and as soon as
I mean,
I
I've
bit
had
it,
that happen with my eyes, like accidentally
Oh, yeah,
chopping,
yeah.
let's say, peppers, and then you like get something in your eye. You know who else loves Indian food? Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. We talked about this at training camp this year.
Man, you know
Yeah.
what? You mentioned that, Didi. I'm so sad, and like the JOK, like him being hurt, like because we
Yeah.
haven't really heard anything about JOK, and
That's
then
scary.
And Hicks came out and said, he was saying some things. Have you heard anything about JOK? Anything behind the scenes? Because the language was saying that like we're not trying to start anything, but anytime you have spinal cord injuries and you're having trouble moving and doing things like that, it's a little scary.
Truthfully, I don't know, and I'll be really honest, I haven't even asked. But you're right about, like another one who is one of my favorites, I'm sure in Cleveland was a favorite, Anthony Walker. I saw him this weekend. I was so pumped. I had a great story to tell about how he's coaching high school football with his dad. He's moved right into the bedroom that he lived in when his dad was raising him. And then he got hurt in this game, and I got really scared because it was non-contact, that it might be an Achilles, but the Dolphins told us it was a hamstring. So hopefully it's not brutal, but speaking of Browns linebackers that we love, I know it just injuries in general are So tough, especially when it's someone that you really pull for, and someone that's already worked really hard to come back from something.
Aditi, yesterday, I wasn't on the show yesterday, but apparently J&G feels that the Browns should just offer Jameis an extension right now.
I didn't say today.
They were at
That's what that Bull told me that you said
they shouldn't be negotiating right now.
You said 3-year deal now.
I would give them 2 in a player.
Jay said that what if the Raiders offered him 3 years, $45 million? I said there's no chance on earth the Raiders or anybody else is offering Jameis 3 years, $45 million. What are you buying and selling on this conversation, Aditi?
Yeah, no, I don't think that the Raiders are coming to get Jameis, and I don't think that the Browns should be committing long-term to Jameis.
When you say long-term, what is long-term for you?
I mean, you don't think 3 years is long-term?
2 in a possible. Like voidable years. Playing spades. 2 in a possible. Like I'm not saying marry him, Aditi. I'm just saying give him a promise ring. Like you're my college.
I mean,
boyfriend.
What's your goal, G? Are you trying to be a Super Bowl team, or are you just like, hey, we just want to get out there and play some games?
I don't know where these quarterbacks is coming from. We look at the list of free agency and it's none there. The Browns are scheduled to pick 8th. So we're not going to get no top quarterbacks in this draft. I said it to people before. I said, okay, well, you didn't like how Ford was looking. If you move on from Jameis Winston, all likelihood, where are you going back to? Ford.
But my thought is, Aditi, there's an in-between here. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. If Jameis plays well the rest of the season, and in the offseason, you look at the landscape and say, hey, I don't think we have a better option at the position. Well, I got 2 months between the end of the year and free agency to re-sign him if I need to maybe a 1-year deal with a possible second year that the Browns can get out of. That's what I think, but I just don't see the rush in signing him right now.
Agreed. 100%, I agree with you. Why be in a rush right now? This is not one of those young guys you want to lock up before he suddenly gets more expensive. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. Let's see how you feel about him and where he can take your team and if he's the right fit for you, and then make a decision, exactly as you're saying. There's no urgency. You're sort of manufacturing a deadline by suggesting it has to happen right now. And also, you don't know who's going to come available, right? What if, what if Justin Fields is suddenly available?
Go Bucks.
How do you not know that Justin Fields' ceiling is not higher? That he can't give you more.
I like Justin Fields. Are you saying?
Yeah, I like him a lot too.
Y'all gonna get rid of him?
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent. He's a free agent. Who knows? We don't know yet. I mean, look, I think it's totally within the realm of possibility that Justin Fields goes back to being the Steelers starter. This Steelers offense has a lot of warts that have kind of been covered up over the last few weeks because of Chris Boswell, their kicker, who's as money as they come, and because of this defense. But they've been absolutely horrific in the red zone. Russell Wilson, once again, is taking terrible, terrible, terrible sacks. And they had a stretch of quarters where they had not scored a touchdown that matched the Jaguars, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if you're a team that is looking to really make noise in the playoffs, something that the Steelers have not been able to do for 7 years now, you really need to assess what's giving your offense the best chance. And obviously, Justin Fields was being played within certain parameters. He was being constrained. He followed what was asked of him, never did anything more. But that team felt that he was getting better every single week. They were able to put more and more on his table every week. Then Russell Wilson became healthy. Mike Tomlin had promised him the starting spot. Mike Tomlin very smartly said, how can I keep a guy on the bench when I don't know what I actually have in him? He puts Russell Wilson in. His first half is horrible. His second half of play is great. The Steelers have been able to string together wins, But if you look at their offensive performance over the last few weeks, they're not setting anybody on fire. I mean, they're really not. And Dan Orlovsky took heat for saying after that Ravens game that the Steelers can't win, however he said it, I'm paraphrasing him, but he essentially said it's not sustainable to win by only kicking field goals. And people gave him heat because, of course, that is exactly how they had just beaten the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
Sure, you can do that, but you can't do that all season long. You can't do that against the Bills and the Chiefs in the playoffs. You're going to need to score touchdowns at some point. You're at some point going to need to be more efficient in the red zone. And if you're not getting that right now, and if your quarterback continues to take really, really bad sacks, you've got to assess again. You've got to either fix that problem, solve that in some way, or if you really like the guy that was getting better every week, who you're kind of trying to insert as a gadget guy because you know he brings a level of dynamism to your offense that you otherwise don't have, and he openly admits that that's his job, that's what he has to do. But of course, it's hard when you're standing on the bench or standing on the sideline, freezing cold, to suddenly come in. You know, he had this, I'm sorry to say it to Cleveland fans, it's a terrible reminder, of course, but he had that 30-yard run Thursday night where he was like, I should have run for a touchdown. But to be perfectly honest, my legs were a little bit cold. Well, duh, because he hadn't been playing, you know? So anyway, my point in all of this is maybe Russell Wilson finishes the season and Justin Fields walks as a free agent and he comes back to the state of Ohio and he's suddenly available.
Go Bucks.
Maybe not, whatever. But for UG right now to say that there will be no quarterbacks on the market, look, nobody thought Sam Darnold was anything. Where does Sam Darnold have the Vikings now? I'll be honest, I'm not a huge believer in Daniel Jones, but maybe Daniel Jones gets some better coaching or gets a better fit or goes to an organization that does something for him, and his second act is a little bit better. Just like Geno Smith's second act was a little bit better. Just like Sam Darnold's third act. Just like Baker Mayfield.
I will say this to your point, Aditi.
They do it.
You know, yes, Sam Darnold's playing better. And here's the bottom line. And if I'm wrong,
that's another guy. Sam Darnold will be available next year, too.
I'll tell you what.
We can't afford him.
I'll tell you what. First of all, the Vikings will lose in the first round of the playoffs. Mark my words.
To who?
Who doesn't matter because they won't have good enough quarterback play when it matters.
Wow.
The Steelers will, of course, as they always do, lose in the first round of the playoffs because whichever quarterback they play, neither of them is good enough, and neither of them will play well in the playoffs.
Whoa.
That's just, Justin Fields is not a starting quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion.
Says who?
Not a quality starting quarterback.
Seems like one to me.
He can't read defenses. I don't know. I mean, I just think
he hasn't. But listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Sam Darnold
Interrupt
said
me.
to us,
Please.
Okay, Sam Darnold said to us 2 weeks ago. We had the Vikings 2 weeks ago, and Sam Darnold, of course, started his career with the Jets. Then he went to the Panthers. Then he spent a year with the 49ers. He said the way that he was taught to look at coverages with Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, he had never been taught that or shown that before. He gave us a list of things that Kyle Shanahan taught him and that Kevin O'Connell is teaching him that in his entire career he had never been given. So yes, I openly said that coming in, Justin Fields didn't seem to have great field vision. He didn't seem to be able to read defenses. But what exactly was he learning in Chicago? What was he being set up for? Caleb Williams isn't exactly setting the world on fire. Maybe some of this has to do with where he was and what was around him and what sort of teaching and development he was getting. And this is not just about Justin Fields or Caleb Williams or Sam Darnold in New Jersey. This is a problem in the National Football League. We keep talking about quarterback development and why we're not seeing quality quarterback play. And the answers keep coming back to maybe there's just not as much really good quarterback coaching as we would like. So for you to sit here and say Justin Fields can't do this, well, I guarantee you Arthur Smith is the best coordinator he's been under. And he is right now with Mike Sullivan and with my God, I'm losing his name, with Tom Arth, with Zach Azani. Help me out. I can't keep every name, whatever. But with with the Steelers coaching staff, what he's getting in that quarterback room right now is better than anything he has ever been exposed to in his entire career, college or professional. So who knows what his ceiling is? Now, do I think he's a savant like Joe Burrow? No. I don't. But that doesn't mean he can't be an extremely serviceable. I mean, when you talk about Joe Burrow, you're talking about three guys, right? You're talking about Patrick Mahomes, who will probably go down as the greatest quarterback ever, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. All right? Justin Herbert. Okay? So there are five guys right
I don't put Herbert in that category. For me, I don't. I don't put Herbert.
Do you put Tua in that category? Because let me tell you, Tua looked really good this past
week. I like
week.
Tua. I think he's in that next category with Herbert, with C.J. Stroud. And maybe
go Bucks.
I mean, some of these guys have to win too. Some of them you need to sit here and say, until you do it in crunch time, do you feel more strongly about Joe Burrow because he's won in the playoffs more than Lamar has? It's a fair argument or conversation to have. Yeah,
Aditi, you bring up great points. I agree, even though I'm very, just the nature of what I do for a living and who I am. Like, when I believe something, I'm like, it's over, that's it. Now, I'll admit when I'm wrong. Listen, Baker playing way better than I ever thought he would. Way better. I still don't think you could ultimately win big with him because he's going to turn the ball over too much, which has been a problem for Jameis, too, in his career. And Baker's, I believe, since he came into the league, is 1 or 2 in turnovers, he and Jared Goff. Now, Goff's gotten better at that. Baker had been a little better early in the season, and then more recently his turnovers have popped up. But I will say that, the game seems to be trend. I felt like until a couple of years ago there's been a stretch where you had to have an elite quarterback to win, right? And then more time goes by, the more that the passing game's going down a little bit, defense and running are coming up a little bit. Now you can win maybe with a second-tier quarterback or a top third-tier quarterback. We're not to the point where you can win with Trent Dilfer and a great defense at that level, but I just think there's still a certain level of quarterback. I've been seeing, Jay's been on this soapbox about, it's all about the running back now. And I saw this completely ludicrous tweet from somebody that covers the NFL, I forgot who it was, today, who said, look at Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Josh Jacobs. They're 1, 2, and 3 in rushing, and look at their teams. They're great. And the teams they left now stink. Well, that's disingenuous because the teams they were all on last year with those guys all sucked. And the teams that they're on now were good without them last year. I'm not saying Saquon Barkley doesn't make the Eagles better, but you have not had a great running back on a Super Bowl champion in as long as I can remember. So until it's proven that I could win with a great running back instead of a great quarterback and just marginal quarterback play, I'm going to assume that a guy like Justin Fields or Russell Wilson or Sam Darnold is not going to be able to win a Super Bowl until I see it.
I mean, I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it was.
But no. I hear what you're saying, but I'll go back, and I know I shared this conversation with you. And it's funny because I meant to actually tell Tua this weekend. A year ago, we were meeting with Bill Belichick, and the Patriots were getting ready to play the Dolphins. And I asked him, what's sort of the greatest piece of development or growth that you've seen in Tua? How is Tua different? How is facing Tua different now than earlier? And he actually compared Tua to Tom Brady. And what Belichick said, what Belichick said is that no quarterback ever gets yards. It's the guy that the quarterback gets the ball to that gets the yards. And he said Brady never had any yards. What he said, he compared it to a point guard. And he says, if your money from the baseline 3, why would I feed you a 3 at the top of the key? I'm going to feed you when you're on the baseline. And then you're going to hit that 3 for me. And so he said what Brady did better than anybody, and what he felt Tua was doing, is finding the right guy in the right spot at the right time more than anybody else. Hitting who you are supposed to hit where that person is money, and doing it at a greater rate than anyone else can. He was essentially saying game manager is not a dirty word. If you are heady, if you know time and situation, if you know how to handle the clock, if you know exactly where you need to go with the ball when, well, isn't that what Brock Purdy is? Isn't that in some ways what Tua is? When you think about Tom Brady, did he have the biggest arm? Did he have the fastest legs? Was he the most elusive guy? He just always knew the right guy to get the ball to in the right position. So in that argument, you're kind of saying, well, I don't know about the second tier, which to you is the Tuas and the Brock Purdys of the world.
No, I believe those guys could win. I believe that tier could win now. I don't think the next tier could win.
Okay.
I don't think the Justin Fields and the Sam Darnolds can win. I don't. Not this.
So here's what I'm saying though is how do we not know that with quality coaching that Justin Fields can't get to that tier.
And that's fair.
I don't
You're
think
right.
Justin Fields is ever getting to Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Justin Fields is ever getting to Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow.
Right.
But who's to say that Justin Fields, who is genuinely really, really smart and who genuinely works really hard and who genuinely really wants it, can't get to a Brock Purdy?
I think that's fair.
I don't
That's
know.
a fair-
I don't know what the
you're
answer
right.
is. I'm just saying maybe we shouldn't write him off
No,
until they
that's-
actually
you're right.
have some real coaching.
That's a good, fair point.
Aditi, I want to ask you this last question. Now, obviously, it's this big thing about Team Dome and Team Not Dome. When you watch that Thursday night game and you seen this team, the elements play a part in it and they have fun playing in the snow, did it change your opinion, whether you were a Dome or not a Dome? Did this game affect how you felt about the Browns getting
Let me tell you this. I am so glad that is not a decision I have to make. I am so glad that I am not a taxpayer in that state where I really need to have a dog in this fight. I completely understand rationally and logically when Andrew Berry says that these are men, not racehorses. We should give them the best elements to perform in. I understand that. I understand as business people that a dome is way more efficient, that you could bring in so many more events, that you can build a whole development around that dome, that you can bring in so much more revenue and taxpayer money to the entire state, to the region. You can attract more. I get all of that. You could bring a Super Bowl to Cleveland. Like, that's all amazing. But my heart, can you look at this? Like, how amazing is this? To see these guys playing in these elements, to have to draw the line markers in between every series, to have people doing snow angels and throwing snowballs. Like, it's just cool. It's really, really cool. And it speaks to a different level of toughness when you get to play in elements like this. But I also...
Kicked her. And just like
Oh.
that, we
Hi,
have
Mary
Mary Kay.
Life comes at you fast.
Kicked her.
Okay.
It was a good
What do we do
thing.
now?
Give me 1 second.
All right,
to text
let's just say goodbye to Aditi, and then we'll bring on Mary Kay.
We don't need her to do a read. We'll bring Mary Kay right in here.
Okay.
We'll go ahead for it.
All right, tell Aditi, you screwed up. We'll put it all on you, Anthony. And we'll now bring in Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland.com. Oh, there's Aditi.
Wait,
She's
there
back.
she is.
Aditi.
Did Anthony just hang up on me?
No,
Like, did-
we
was
were
the
supposed
note
to.
not
We were
dead?
supposed to wrap up with you at 11:50 because we had another guest coming at 12. But we went long because I was rambling on, and so that
wild.
we were just about to say goodbye. But it was a great conversation. You were awesome.
Yeah, but I feel like I got hung up on. I feel like
No.
the Haslam's called and said,
was such a
"Don't let
passionate
Aditi say she
answer."
liked the snow. Get rid of her before she says she liked the snow."
No, not at all, not at all.
I used to get caught up like that in high school all the time.
Aditi, we'll see you later. Love
Bye,
you.
guys.
We'll see you
Talk to
later.
you next
Bye.
week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Happy Thanksgiving. Aditi Kinkabwala, CBS Sports.
You click over. Who is Sharonda? That was from my mom.
You want to do a read real quick, Anthony?
Yeah, sorry,
go
coordinating
ahead.
back here. That's my bad. I must have sent Aditi the wrong.
It's all
link or
good. Go
Mary Kay
ahead.
the
Give
wrong
us a
link.
read, and then we'll bring Mary Kay on.
So, guys, we have a new sponsor link. Sponsor
Good.
alert here. It's Skylight Frame. Are you guys missing someone this holiday season and want them to be a part of your festivities from far away? Or do your loved ones just live really far away, but you wish they could be close? Well, we've got the perfect gift for you. Skylight Frame is the touchscreen digital photo frame your whole family will love. You can upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in seconds. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. The photos are displayed in HD resolution, and you can choose from 5 different frame styles and set it up in a portrait or landscape mode. It's a great private way to share photos without posting it to the world or having to print and store hard copies. And they're so confident that you're going to love Skylight, they offer a 120-day return. And now, as a special offer, limited time offer for our listeners, you can get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/NFL. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/NFL. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com.
All right, let's bring in Aditi. We just wrapped up with Aditi. We bring in Mary Kay now. I'm confusing myself. We're a big mess, but we'll pull it together. Mary Kay Cabot now, of course, from Cleveland.com. Mary Kay, how are you? Big plans for Thanksgiving? What's going on?
Yes, having the family over to my house, and I was just looking around the house and thinking, geez, I better clean this place. It's a little crazy of a time of year to be having people over when, we're out there in Berea for 10, 12 hours a day, but we'll get it done. We always do.
Mary Kay, you are way too important a person to be cleaning your own house. Can't you have someone else do it for you?
I keep meaning to get around to that, but I just never do. So,
for those who don't know, Mary Kay has a daughter who is a circus performer, right?
Right.
Does she get a break from the circus to come back for Thanksgiving?
No, she's in France right now performing, and she will be in Austria at Christmas time. So she doesn't get to come home for Thanksgiving, unfortunately. But my other daughter from New York City is home, so I'm happy about that.
Oh, good. Wow.
That's crazy.
What a life. Being in the circus, traveling the world.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, my new nickname is Big Circus, but
Yeah,
I'm not hanging from no tent or anything. That's
Mary,
crazy.
Mary Kay, what did you take from the Browns' win on Thursday? Is this something that they could help them turn things around? I'm not saying that they're gonna rip off and finish the season 9-8, but they can finish the season on a more positive note than where it was headed.
Absolutely, they can. This is going to be a tough game for them Monday night in Denver. Bo Nix is playing really well. Their defense is playing really well. They have a good secondary that I think is really going to challenge Jameis and the receivers. But they can go out there and play well because that's what they have been doing lately. So good for them. I thought the defense really showed up in this past game. I thought the offense did some nice things. So they can get on a little run here. They absolutely can. But they are also heading into the toughest part of their schedule, where you're starting to see 4 more road games left, only 2 games. And then, of course, you've got Pittsburgh again. You've got Baltimore. You've got Cincinnati. You've got the Chiefs coming to town. So this is not going to be easy by any stretch, but I do think that they can have a couple more feel-good games like that.
Well, we talk about feel-good games. We were just talking to Didi about Jameis Winston. Are you more bearish or bullish on Jameis Winston? Do you think what are the chances that he starts a game for the Cleveland Browns in 2025?
It's hard to say. I don't think we can predict accurately at this point if he's going to be back with the team or if he's not. I think the quarterback room is wide open at this point. I do think that there probably is a world in which they have to bring Deshaun back and figure that out. But I don't know if Jameis will be in there with him. I don't know if it will be someone else. I don't know if they're going to draft a quarterback, trade for one, sign one. I'm sure that they have their preliminary plans right now. Jameis certainly has made a strong case for himself to be back and to play some games for the Cleveland Browns next year. But we just don't know where any of this is going yet. That's really the truth.
I seen during the Thursday night game, Albert Breer reported that Kevin and Andrew Berry are safe or should be good to stay here. They're not going to get fired. Do you think that the Browns are making the right decision, or do you think that is something that they should look into once the conclusion of this season is over?
Yeah, and we have been reporting that too. So, we heard what Andrew Berry said at the bye week, and then I've been reporting that those guys are safe. So, I don't necessarily know that we need to wait for a national person to tell us something that we really have been hearing ourselves and reporting ourselves. So, I do think that those guys are safe, that they want to maintain stability and the status quo. We heard Andrew Berry rave about Kevin. We've seen them go out and beat the Ravens and the Steelers. I think that will help them. I think that continuity for this team is good. You don't see the Steelers blowing it up all the time.
True, but the Steelers at least consistently make the playoffs and have a winning record, which the Browns have been more up and down. But I do agree with you. I think in the end, it is the right move to keep Kevin Stefanski. I'm not as convinced with Andrew Berry. I feel personally better, more confident in Kevin Stefanski than Andrew Berry. Is that fair, unfair? Mary Kay, what do you think?
Well, at this point, I think it's all about the quarterback. And if they can solve the quarterback situation, and if they can kind of pull a rabbit out of a hat, and that was an organizational decision. So, again, I don't think you can pin that whole decision on Andrew Berry. I think they all put their heads together and they decided that they wanted a quarterback that they felt could win them a Super Bowl. So I don't think he should take the fall for that. But now it's going to be incumbent upon him to try to fix the quarterback situation. And we don't know how that's going to look yet. I can't imagine what they have in mind or what they're going to do. But you can rest assured that they already have preliminary plans for figuring this out.
When you look at the plans at quarterback, I look at the record, and sometimes when you look at the record, it kind of could tell you where you might be drafting, where you're looking at. What are some positions besides quarterback that you think the Browns are going to target? Because the quarterback position is up in there. What do you think some definite needs are where they may look to bolster in the draft that are higher priorities other than quarterback?
Well, I think you could always use another really good premier edge rusher if you could find one of those. Now, if you use your first round pick on a quarterback, you're not going to be able to get one of the top edge rushers in the NFL. But I do think that that they should be out on the lookout for one of those guys, because you can never have too many good edge rushers. And Miles is starting to get up there in football years anyways. So certainly he's going to need down the road somebody to be spelling him a little bit, or at least starting opposite him. So I would look there. Cornerbacks, they're always looking for good cornerbacks. We don't know what the future of Greg Newsome is yet. And we know that Martin Emerson didn't have quite the season that they expected him to have. We know that Andrew Berry absolutely loves cornerbacks. So you might want to be looking there a little bit. And then I think they should be pretty well set at offensive tackle with DeWand and Jack. And then if they choose to, they can re-sign Jed for the for the swing tackle position. Now, linebacker, that's one to take a look at, because JOK, we really don't know the future of JOK at this point. He has a neck injury. They're unpredictable. We don't know when he's going to be able to come back from that. And especially if there's nerve damage in there, you just don't know when you're going to be able to get the strength back and the range of motion. So that's one to keep an eye on.
Mary Kay, I want to go back because you talked about Myles Garrett there. Obviously, he had a tremendous game Thursday night against Pittsburgh. TJ Watt was really a no-show in this game. So Myles, in this battle for who's the best pass rusher in football, obviously we're all a little biased. We think it's Myles Garrett, but, I think I try to take my biases out of it. To me, it's pretty clear, but whatever. But on this day, at the very least, there was no debate who was the better player on that day. Myles' comments after the game, I know he marches to the beat of a different drummer, but I liked the comments. I didn't have a problem with anything he said, but I was a little surprised he was that aggressive with his commentary. Were you?
Yes, I was surprised. I really was surprised. But what happened was TJ Watt poked the bear when he tweeted what he tweeted at those NFL Honor Awards last February. And that really stuck in Myles' craw. It hurt him. And then JJ Watt, his brother, kind of chimed in on that. And Myles firmly believes that was his moment. They stole his thunder. TJ stole his thunder. He's never thrown shade at a TJ award. And so I think he was really, really upset by that. And he used that as fuel in that game. And boy, did it work for him. He was loaded for bear, and then he went out and he got the rest of the team fired up too. That defense came out with his hair on fire, and they were ready to play, especially in that first half. So I do think that Myles just took that so personally, and he used it and to the Browns' benefit, really.
Mary Kay, what is your thoughts on the development of young players in the Browns organization?
Well, I think they do a really good job of it. And I think as you look over these next 6 games, you're going to see more of these young guys playing more. I think you'll see more Jamari Thrash. Now, right now, Cedric Tillman is out with a concussion. So you're going to be forced to play some younger players. But who knows? Maybe Jamari will get on the field more. Maybe Jalen Darden will get on the field more. Maybe Mike Woods will get on the field a little bit. So this is an opportunity for these guys to see what they have in some other players. Some young cornerbacks will probably get some more time. Some young safeties too. So this is the time to absolutely do that. And it's necessary, and it will help them for their planning for next year.
Mary Kay, we had Kadarius Toney. We saw a sighting of him get one reverse, and he kind of was done after that reverse. Was that just something they had planned in the package, or Do they plan on expanding that role a little bit to see what they got in Kadarius Toney?
Well, I think he's one of those guys where you really do want to see what you have. I feel that way about DTR too, and maybe even Bailey Zappi to a certain extent, the third string quarterback. Now is the time to see what you have in some of these younger guys. Maybe not right away, but as you move through the rest of the season, maybe the final 3 games, 4 games, whatever the case may be. But Kadarius Toney, he's someone that if they could get something out of him, they wanted to see what he could do in terms of speed. He brings that element of speed that you can't coach. But that certainly was a failed experiment with him the other day. I think you just have to keep coming back at it and see if there's anything there.
You mentioned Cedric Tillman and the concussion. Do we have an update? Is he he's not definitely out for this week, is he? Or
No, he's not out for this week. And I think the good thing about this week is that they have 10 days between games. So
True.
Guys that needed a little extra time to heal up are getting it. Cedric Tillman is one of those guys. Jedrick Wills is one of those guys. I know a lot of people think that we've seen the last of Jedrick Wills this season, but we really haven't. He's going to get back in there, and he's going to play some more football, and it will help them in their evaluation with him for next season.
All right, Mary Kay, let's get to the most important question of the day. Who is the most annoying fellow Browns beat reporter that drives you crazy? I'm kidding.
Mary Kay was like, I can't hear you, Bull. I can't hear you. You're breaking up on me, Bull. You're breaking. I got to go.
Let me ask, if all the Browns beat reporters got together for a meal, who would be most likely to pick up the check? Most likely to pick up the check.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh gosh, I just can't answer that one.
No?
I can't answer. No, I can't answer because we just always split the checks. None of us have to do that. We're all on expense accounts, and so we don't really We really don't do that.
That's true.
Mary Kay, is turkey overrated?
Oh, come on.
For me, a little bit, yes. But
Messed up.
but
I'm
not
with you,
for
Mary Kay. Mary Kay,
not other my family.
have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for taking the time as
Broke
always.
my heart.
And we'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, guys. Take care.
All right. Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland.com. Good to chat with her. It's time to talk a little Ohio State, Michigan after this word from Anthony Canspelli.
Anthony Canspelli here. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel Sports app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today.
I'm showing Tyvis and G this video. I don't know. Have you seen this before?
You got cheese all over us, right?
This guy, I mean, I don't know if we can see this
I
on the.
thought that was Otani from right here.
This guy, I don't know. Like, this guy did a proposal at the Chargers game or the Ram-Chargers game. And the girl, obviously, now maybe it's shtick, maybe whatever. She obviously doesn't want to be proposed to, and somebody dropped food on him. So the whole thing can be a shtick. But here's the deal, guys. When you ask a woman to marry you, you have to know the answer is going to be yes. If you're not 100% sure the answer is going to be yes, then you should not do it. That's absurd.
I don't disagree with that.
Because if you don't know for sure she's going to say yes, that means you haven't discussed the subject enough. And if you have not discussed the subject enough, then you and she, or you and he, whatever, are not prepared to get married.
If she don't look excited,
Yeah.
tell her psych I lied.
Yeah, you can't be
Psych,
doing
I
that. Now, I'll give another piece of
I
advice.
mean, what G took it a step to where he was at the altar.
That's true.
Yeah. I listen, she wasn't that excited. She went, look, I should have known.
Should have known?
Should have known. That's on you, big boy.
That's it.
You should have. Hey, take that back. Hey, listen, I tell people, you know how many people? Hey, you know what the marriage rate around here is? I've been to a wedding. 2002. People don't get married no more.
Well, you're also older. I'm certainly older. Our friends are all married already.
Once you hit a certain
No?
age, once you hit a certain age, G,
Mike still goes to weddings every 8
I was about to
seconds.
say,
He's
yeah, he
younger.
does.
Hey, Wale said he ain't been to a black wedding in years.
Once you hit a certain age, I don't think people do it for love. They just want a death buddy.
Look. After there's a certain people. Like, first of all, people just be with people forever now.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't be getting married.
Well, come on.
The one dude.
Some people don't,
what's
but
the one dude? The one dude, Shamar Moore.
I don't know who that is.
What? This has got to stop.
What happened? Who's Shamar Moore? Refresh my memory.
Oh my
This has
gosh,
got to stop.
man.
This is. Oh, man.
He was on Criminal Minds.
I know him. All right. Yeah, he's a good-looking dude, right?
Bull is.
I don't watch Criminal Minds.
Bro, he was on Soul Train.
I know who he is now. I couldn't think of it. You know what's funny? You know why it's funny that I didn't remember that? Because I literally just looked him up the other day because Howard Stern was talking about that guy, and apparently he fought to keep the show going for another year.
Yeah. And then he gave him the spinoff.
And so Stern was talking about him. I'm like, who is this guy? I didn't know who he was. And then I looked him up, and I'm like, oh, that guy. I've seen him before.
I bring him up to say that he's been with his girl for
Yeah.
a long time. They've been married. They not married. They have kids together, but
Right.
he said he won't get
And
married.
that's fine. To each his own. I don't judge anybody.
Because he said he hadn't seen a successful marriage when he was growing up.
And that's fine. Whatever you want to do, but I don't agree that a lot, there's still plenty of people that get married.
It's a death
Nah,
blow.
if
You just got married not that long ago.
I mean, but you know how many times it took me to do it?
Anyway.
Right.
Speaking of as many times it took
By the
you
way,
to
and
do
by the
it.
way, and now G didn't do this, and his wife is great, and they have a great relationship. But in general, live with somebody before you marry them. I'll give you that advice. Are you and your girlfriend moving in together?
No, I'm moving out by myself because she is staying down in Columbus for another year.
Okay, but then she.
There's plans, yes. There's
all
plans
right,
in
so you
place.
got it smart.
Good.
And Anthony's still pretty young,
we
so
call that shacking up, bull.
that's what you got to do. You don't really know
Buy me a
somebody.
jersey, I'm Shaq.
You do not really know somebody until you live with them,
I agree with that statement.
right?
I stand by it.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
There you go. All right, before I lose any more credibility chips, let's. We're ready to talk about.
Yeah,
enough
we did the
today.
read. So
Ohio
Buckeyes,
State,
whenever
Michigan.
You're ready there, Will.
It's funny. It does not feel like Michigan week at all.
No.
I don't know what it is.
How do y'all just say that word?
It doesn't feel. I don't because I'm not that. I don't care.
Like even when I was there,
Yeah.
to the present day,
You can't say Michigan.
Wolverines are the team up north.
Tyler,
I used to say the team up north.
Right.
Now I say Wolverines because I got to do some Big Ten stuff and I refuse to say the M word.
Yeah.
So I say Wolverines.
I'm going to be honest. I don't even know if the game's at home or on the road. I can't remember.
It's home.
Okay.
you know what the problem is? The problem with this game is Ohio State has been underachieving for like 5 years.
But they're playing since the Oregon game. They've been getting steadily better.
I don't know. Since the Nebraska game.
Okay, since
I don't
Nebraska
care
game.
nothing about since the Oregon game.
Yeah.
That's Ohio State. They got professional football players.
Every position.
And you struggling with Oregon?
What are you talking about? The number one team
Oregon's
in the country?
number one.
Oregon
country.
is not good. You know Oregon is not good like that.
If they're not good, then nobody's good.
Listen, I'm going to let you know.
You're saying Ohio State should be the best team in the country
Yes.
far and away.
Yes.
And they haven't been.
No.
I mean, they played well against Indiana.
What are you talking? Wait a minute. What are you talking
Watch
about?
this. Name me somebody off Oregon's defense.
Jordan Birch, the DN.
And guess what? Is he better than the defensive ends Ohio State got?
Yes, he is.
Man.
And I think he's a freshman.
Listen, these dudes in Oregon is not that good. They went up there, and you got Jeremiah Smith. I would spam Jeremiah Smith all the time. Why is it that he don't get to rock all the time and he open all the time?
What they call offensive pass interference.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this.
What?
I'm gonna tell you this.
What?
I'm gonna
They
tell you this.
did.
Then you come back and you struggle against Nebraska. How you struggle against Nebraska at the crib?
I think they was trying to do a heavy. First of all, it was a heavy emphasis on. They had just lost their left tackle, who's the top pick in the draft.
Well, wait a second. I think, and listen,
Wait,
I'm not.
can I finish?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're right.
They lost
Yeah.
their starting left tackle in the Oregon game. They
Yeah.
put a new guy in there. He struggled in that game. They really wanted to establish the run game, not understanding that Nebraska actually is really good against the run game.
Yeah.
And they couldn't really do what they wanted to
Now,
do.
I think you're being too harsh.
Why?
Because
What
you can only beat who's on your schedule.
What big games has Ryan Day won? Name me some big games.
He's won 2 top
Don't
5
argue.
matchups this week.
I don't argue with you,
year.
Ryan Day. I said on Twitter.
He's 2-1 in
I
top
said
5
on Twitter
matchups
Sunday,
this year.
G, that I think Ryan D is a D. and fans got crazy. They hate my guts now.
Top 5
so I'm not defending Ryan Day.
He beat Penn State and he beat
I'm
Indiana.
just saying, you got to give him a chance.
Top 5 matchups.
You can't talk about Nebraska and Oregon. Those were months ago. Now they're playing better now.
Telling you.
You got to be honest.
They beat Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Tyvis in his heart of hearts knows Penn State is frauds.
But
he knows that.
But here's the thing.
Top 5
if Penn
matchup,
State and
all I
Oregon are
said.
frauds, are there any good teams?
No. Hold on. What I'm saying to you is he knows Penn State loses to Ohio State every year.
2016 they won.
Franklin ain't beating nobody good in weeks. It's Penn State. By the way,
a decent Minnesota team.
Indiana,
at
home, that ain't supposed to be a win.
I mean, but they won convincingly.
Okay, that was supposed to be that right there. Here's how. This is what I'm gonna say. I went to a MAC school. Tyvis knows what it is. If you want to be the Buckeyes get supreme love. They get supreme athletes.
Yes.
They get supreme money. They got the most NIL bread. They got the most 5 stars.
Is that true that they get the most NIL bread?
Texas A&M does really well.
But they suck. But Ohio State, out of the top joints, they got the most money. They got the most clout, right? The world famous Buckeyes. You get paid to beat Michigan and win championships.
Right. And if they don't do it, you're right. That's fair. But I can't kill them right now because they have been playing better now. If they lose, I mean, Michigan sucks, right? Isn't Michigan
terrible.
5-5?
They're terrible.
6-5.
So they should be They should spank Michigan.
So what you're saying is, if they lose to Michigan, which that is a death blow.
They won't lose to Michigan, right?
It should not happen.
They should not.
What's the spread?
20.5.
Oh man.
To me, with the talent that they got. You got Junkins back, or you got him transferring in.
Yeah.
You got Downs. You had your whole secondary coming back. Your 2 defensive ends back. Henderson back.
Well, but listen. First of all, Wolverines is coming off of a matchup with Northwestern. They just put up 50 points. Best offensive performance that they have. Secondly, the strength of the Wolverines team is their 2 defensive tackles. The weakness of our team right now is that we have a bunch of injuries on the offensive line. So therefore,
now there should be no excuse for that, Tyvis.
I'm just saying.
This is wild.
I'm just pointing out facts.
Ohio State's second-team offensive line should be a top 10 offensive line in the country with the money they have. I mean, come on. There's enough country boys in the state of Ohio alone that should be able to back up that offensive line.
I'm just telling you what it is.
Okay.
I'm just saying that we just suffered a center. Now, Carson Hinsman did a really great job, and he's played center for the Buckeyes a whole year last year, so it's not that big of a deal. But I'm just saying it is something.
To my opinion, he's being too harsh on them right now. However, I agree with him that there's no excuse. You got to kick Michigan's ass.
I agree with you.
Let me ask you something. I'm being too harsh, okay? Let me give you this. I watch Ohio State.
Yeah.
Have Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
Olave.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
And C.J. Stroud on the same squad and lose to Michigan. Unacceptable.
That's embarrassing.
Unacceptable. It's unacceptable. How do you have professional that team with those 3 can beat pro teams. That's the best offense in the world with those 3 receivers and that quarterback today in the league.
You know why that happened? Because it always comes back down to the ability to run the football.
Well, and Harbaugh's just a much better coach than Ryan Day, let's be honest.
You can have your own opinions on that. All I'm saying
is there any debate? Is there any debate? I mean, Harbaugh's a better coach.
Talent for talent, skill position for position. Ohio State got the most ball players in the world. There is no excuse for them not to be in the championship game perennially with Georgia, with Alabama.
Whoever's the best team out of the South, right?
They're supposed to be there every year. That's what we pay for.
Has Michigan, in your opinion, ever had more talent on? Forget been the better team, won the game.
No.
Have they ever had more talent on their roster than Ohio State that you can ever remember?
I could argue last year.
You think they had more talent?
They had like 14, 15 people get drafted in the draft last year.
How many Ohio State get drafted?
4.
That's it?
Something like that. A lot of them came back.
Well, okay, but
I'm just saying.
Okay, but
I'm just saying.
But they have Ohio State's got all these players. They're going to get like 20 guys drafted this year, right?
But that's this year.
But those guys played last year.
But they might have developed better this year.
All right, so you think the Michigan had more talent last
They
year?
had Marvin Harrison, bro.
I'd argue.
They had Marvin
You didn't
Harrison.
even, you didn't even mention him before.
And they had Marvin Harrison and Ibuka. Come on, man.
The quarterback was shaky. That's
The quarterback was
allegedly.
Didn't
How
he just
is
throw
it-
like 18 picks for Syracuse the other day?
He had like 6 picks and 4 of them was
Yeah.
pick sixes or
Again,
something like that.
Yeah.
you're Ohio State.
That's true. No excuses.
You had so much talent one year. Joe Burrow
I tell you
couldn't get
what,
off the bench.
I
Joe
give you-
Burrow couldn't get off the bench.
I
It's a
give
good
you a
point.
spicy take. I take Syracuse over
Yeah.
Miami this week.
Oh, really?
I would.
They play Miami of Ohio, I
No,
assume?
no. Miami. Cam Ward's Miami. You
Really?
matter.
All right, real quick. Now there was something I had a point. I
They
had a
better
point.
beat
I
them
don't
by
know.
50, and they better make this Big Ten
Ultimate
championship
Buckeyes. When's that coming out?
Ultimate Buckeyes is tomorrow with me and Dustin Fox. We'll
Yeah.
record it at some point and put it out at some point.
Tomorrow.
To BD.
Get the latest on the game, what to expect. And you guys got to share some memories from your games.
Oh, I'll have.
That's back when they was winners.
That's back when they was winning.
They're not.
Listen, the Buckeyes should win. Listen, when you look at college football as
Yeah.
a landscape this entire year, there is no clear-cut team that's like,
Yeah.
oh, this team is the best team and they're the team to beat. That's not the case this year. I think
No.
it's as wide open as it's ever been.
Yeah.
The only question marks that I would have on the Buckeyes currently is I do question our corners. That's about it.
And
I'm
you
not-
guys had the debate yet
About what?
about your national championship team versus Dustin's national championship?
Yeah, Dustin says that they were better because they had more people drafted.
I don't think that proves they're better.
I don't either, but that's what he said, and I.
Let me go back and list.
For the sake of argument,
in my
didn't.
head.
What do you think? I mean, it's hard to not be biased about that.
I mean, they have Maurice Claret. They have Mike Doss, two of the most,
yeah, Maurice
the best players that they
obviously
position.
wasn't a great NFL player, but man, in
No,
college
he was that thing. in
Oh,
college.
y'all taking that L,
Oh, really?
bro. Listen,
We taking the L?
yeah, y'all taking that.
No,
L.
we not.
Well, you guys had your quarterback was Cardell.
Cardell, Zeke.
Their quarterback was terrible.
Here's how
Yeah.
we play this.
Yeah.
You can't knock them. Dustin Fox and them beat the greatest team ever assembled.
What do you say to that?
We beat 3 Heisman finalists.
We don't care about those
Yes,
guys.
yes, we do.
You beat Mariota, right?
We beat Melvin Gordon, held him under 100 yards.
Okay.
We stopped Amari Cooper.
Okay.
I wouldn't say stop. We slowed him down.
Yeah.
And we beat Marcus Mariota, all 3
But
finalists.
they had that trash quarterback number 6 though.
Blake Sims?
Man, Blake Sims is out of here.
If he was so trash, how
trash.
was Amari Cooper in the Heisman race?
It's Amari Cooper.
Also,
Just saying.
the rules changed between when Dustin was playing and when you were
But
playing.
here's why I respect
Yeah.
I respect their team more than I do Dustin's team.
Whoa.
The reason I respect their team,
Your boy Mike Doss?
I respect them more because they could have folded like a Christmas tree, right? They won 3 games with a backup quarterback that didn't play, and they smashed teams. It wasn't like they low key blew Alabama out. They
Yeah.
destroyed. To even get into that championship game, they had to put 50 like on Wisconsin. in the Big
59
Ten.
to nothing.
Yeah.
59-0 to get
Wisconsin's
them in.
never been the same since?
Never. Like you would say, hey, like
Yeah.
somebody said, like Kendrick Lamar said, it's like COVID, never been the same.
Yeah.
He got them up out of here, and I was like, and then they beat Alabama and Saban, and this
Right.
is prime Saban, and then came back and beat prime Oregon.
Yep.
I respect it, but I mean, Dustin's team beat the greatest team ever assembled. So-
How many guys did get drafted from your team?
I
forget.
I
It's
do
too-
some math.
Yeah. That's all right. We'll do it another time. Let's send it, Anthony. Before we get back to the Cavs,
Yeah.
I got to throw out a football topic, an NFL topic, real quick. That could take over. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, let me get a reading
All right,
first.
go ahead.
It could
Are you
take
okay,
over.
B2?
Yeah.
So our random NFL topic today, brought to you by Bull, is also
Yeah.
brought to us by Hillsdale College. Guys, time is our most precious commodity, so don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. But how can you spend it wisely to improve yourself? Well, our sponsor, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free online courses, including Constitution 101, the meaning of history in the Constitution, Introduction to Free Market Economics, The Great American Story, A Land of Hope, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Republic, and so many more. All you have to do is go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockedon to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/lockedon to register. hillsdale.edu. Go check out your free courses.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. Guys, I don't know why this popped into my head.
It's going to take over.
But I feel like I'm curious what your take is on this, if this happened. And I'll admit that the odds of this happening are probably less than 1%. But we've talked in the last 24 hours a lot about signing Jameis Winston or not signing him. And, we talked a lot about, are there better options? Doesn't seem to be any obvious better options that the Browns can get their hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And then it occurred to me.
Danny Downs.
No. That would be boring. I wouldn't bring that up.
Okay.
What if this guy's going to be a free agent?
Okay.
Or if he's not, I think.
Sam Darnold.
No. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Lord.
Would you want Aaron Rodgers for a year? Now, can't imagine there's any way that Aaron Rodgers would come here. But if it were a possibility, would you want Aaron Rodgers for a year?
No.
No, you're out.
No.
You don't think he's got it anymore? Now, his team's been terrible this year.
No.
And they, like the Browns, had a lot of optimism from their fan base this season.
I want no parts of Aaron Rodgers, man. Like Aaron Rodgers.
17 touchdowns, 7 picks.
Are you insinuating that you want him on this team?
I'm curious your opinion, and I'll give you my opinion at the end. But go ahead.
I told you long ago that I watched Aaron Rodgers do some things live in person, like I seen it, like it was right there. And I've always had a ton of respect for Aaron Rodgers, to the point that I would never really disrespect Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Would I take him on the Browns next year is the question?
Yes.
If they got him, they would have to get a true bona fide number one wide receiver.
Yes, that's true.
That would be my answer to your question. If they got a bona fide number one,
is Devontae Adams count as that anymore or no?
Is Devontae a bona fide number one wide receiver? I mean, he still got some stuff to him. I don't think people fear him the way he used to be. No.
Okay.
Man, this is the easiest question you've ever asked.
Really?
Let me start this game.
I'll tell you what, you talk about, you think Deshaun had controversies too.
So this is the thing.
You got 2 controversial quarterbacks on the roster? Man.
This is why I'm a little baffled, because people aren't reading the tea leaves in this. The tea leaves, if you sitting here saying, we just asked a week ago about Kevin Stefanski and everybody getting fired. Remember? We talked about who's on the hot seat. So if everybody wants to say they're fine for this year, great. But when you start next year automatically on the hot seat.
That's fair.
It ain't even a joke. It's okay, we let you slide this year. If the Browns come out and they drop to 0-3, what it's going to be?
I don't know.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
They will get fired in the middle of the year.
No, the Browns don't do that.
He's done it plenty of times.
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
Why would you?
They're not firing.
Are you sure?
They're not firing them until after the year.
I'm just saying, if they let them ride now and they start off next year poorly, what are you going to say?
Jimmy's fired guys in the middle of the season.
He's going to fire them immediately.
He has done that.
So my thing is this. If I'm a coach and I'm a smart individual, I need to maximize my ability to stick around. Now, do I want to bring in a blank canvas quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, who's stuck in his ways, who brings controversy as well, who just got Robert Saleh police escorted out of the building?
Man,
that's a fact.
That's a fact. Get up out of here. You want to bring that guy in to help save your career so you can have Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers on the roster.
That's what I said.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the Sharks circling in that tank?
Oh, my God.
They would be like, so the Cleveland Browns didn't learn from the Jets. They got to keep Deshaun Watson. And now you're talking about Aaron Rodgers going in a 24-hour period talking about vaccines and sleeping in the dark. And Deshaun Watson coming back talking about, listen, he's ready to go and he still feels he's a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
What is wrong? No. This is why I be trying to ask people. I'm like, I'm supposed to be the Duke of knee jerk. I'm supposed to be the dude that does things emotionally. That's the craziest thing. You know what I do?
I'm glad I brought it up.
I bring back. I'm like, listen, I need somebody that's going to run this offense, because if you think about it like this, can you afford to say we're going to bring in a guy, and then he said, and then our beat reporters, our people, our media says this every single year. Well, guys, it can't be the coach's fault because we had the injuries. It's the first year of a system. Guys are learning it. We always knew it was going to start off slow. It's a work in progress. How many times are you going to say that when you are the cause for your slow progress? You did that.
So you're out. Tyvus, you're in, kind of, on Aaron Rodgers.
I'm on the fence.
All right.
I have to see that.
I brought it up, but there is not a chance on earth I'd want Aaron Rodgers here. Zero. Not interested.
Even with Devontae Adams, who has less than 500 yards on 44 catches this year?
Well, he's missed some games, to be fair to him. How many games has he played?
Let me go check.
According to my boy Mike Thomas, only time that when he was all pro, he got the ball fed to him 160 times.
Mike Thomas is coming off awfully bitter right now.
He just has some strong words for Derek Carr.
Why, Drew Brees wasn't feeding him the ball?
Well, I think his point was he got 100 catches off like 160 targets, and he's like, anybody should be able to do that.
If you weren't that good, you wouldn't get 160 targets.
Force fed.
It's rough. Like, I don't know, man. Even the people on the outside, like, at some point they laugh at us. Like, they're like, oh
sure.
We should just suggest things for the Browns to do so we can watch it be a little nasty little experiment over there.
I got something to ask you. Remember back when they put that fake trade out that the Browns should trade to the Lions, Myles Garrett to the Lions for like all them first round.
I don't know. They call it a fake trade. More like a
whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Were you in favor of that trade?
I think I was.
Were you in favor of that trade?
No.
Oh yeah, I was, because it was an absurd amount. The Lions would have never made that trade.
So let me ask you. Yeah. After Myles Garrett's performance on Thursday, are you still in favor of that trade?
In that trade, the Browns were getting Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a top 5 running back.
Yeah, I trade my whole fantasy
and 3
team.
first-round picks.
Who has him on fantasy? I'll trade my whole team for him.
I think I got Jahmyr Gibbs.
There you go.
I would give you my entire roster for Jahmyr
as
Gibbs.
much as there's almost no way I would trade Myles Garrett. Like, there's 99 out of 100 scenarios that you could give me. If I could get Jahmyr Gibbs and 3 first-round picks, and it was more than that. It was Gibbs, 3 first-round picks, and more.
It was like a 3rd-round pick.
I would do that. I mean, how could
to this day? After this Thursday night
only because how many great years does Myles Garrett have left? 2, 3?
Is this?
It's crazy. Now people will turn this into, you want to trade Myles Garrett. I don't want to trade Myles Garrett. But the Lions would never make that trade. Never.
The interesting thing is, the big selling point to you is Jahmyr Gibbs, to where
it's the combination.
Just about a couple years ago, running backs were extinct.
No. It's not just Jahmyr. If it was Jahmyr Gibbs and that's it, of course I wouldn't do it.
No.
If it was Jahmyr Gibbs and 1 first-round pick, I would not do it. But it's 3 first-rounders and Jahmyr.
So you're saying that out of those,
also included a second-round pick.
And a second-round pick.
So out of those picks, they gonna get it right.
No, hold on.
And then on top of that, are they going to develop the players?
Okay, but if I have no faith that they're going to...
So we just gave Myles Garrett away from... So it turns into Myles Garrett for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Here's the bottom line. If the Browns can't get it right with 3 first-round picks and develop those players, then they're never going to win with Myles Garrett anyway, because they can't do any of those things.
Would you?
Well, you're going to be further away if you ain't
What's
got
the difference?
What do you need? What's the difference?
If you had Jahmyr Gibbs.
What is it? Literally a game changer.
Come on. You know damn well that if the Lions offered Jahmyr Gibbs 3 first-rounders and a second, the Browns would trade Myles Garrett. You know that.
If it was just Jahmyr Gibbs out of the equation, say the Lions said, we're going to do it just on picks. We'll give you 3. We'll give you. I think this trade is actually worth it. If they said, I'll give you 2 first-round picks, a second and a third for Myles Garrett, that's worth it for the Lions.
The Lions would do that. Yes.
The Lions should do that.
I think the Browns probably would.
And if you're the Lions and they take that trade,
the Lions are not trading Jahmyr Gibbs.
The Lions, my thought process is, if you offer that trade as the Lions, you got to strike when it's hot right now. You got an opportunity. It does not look like there's a team out there that's going to be a juggernaut in the NFC. You can get to the – so now especially if Hutchinson is healthy. You have 2 elite defensive ends. You still have the running back. You still got an elite receiver and a quarterback. And one of the best offensive lines.
Can you imagine if Hutchinson and Myles Garrett playing together next year?
From their standpoint, even if you said, nah, give me 2 1s and 2 2s.
I think they would do that. Maybe I'm crazy. I think they would. And so you would trade Myles Garrett in that scenario.
No.
Hey, G, you 6-6 in your team this nice.
It's just the way it falls.
What happened?
The way it fell.
All right, go ahead, Anthony. We'll get to this. Let's get to this Cavs topic before we go.
Before we get to the Cavs topic, we got one more read from our new sponsor, Skylight Frames. Guys, are you missing someone this holiday season and you want them to be part of your festivities from afar, or do your loved ones just live far away and you wish that they could be close? Well, we've got the perfect gift for you. Skylight Frame is the touchscreen digital photo frame your whole family will love. You can upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in just seconds. Super easy to set up. It just takes less than 60 seconds. It comes in 2 sizes. You can have a 10-inch one or a 15-inch. They look perfect in any room. They can stand on their own, or they're easy to mount to the wall. It's a great way to privately share photos without posting them to the world on your social medias. And gift mode makes it a very meaningful, personalized gift. You can upload it with memories without even opening the box so that it's ready to go as soon as they open it on Christmas Day. All you have to do right now is, for their limited time offer, you get $20 off your first purchase when you go to skylightframe.com/NFL. That's skylightframe.com/NFL to get $20 off your first purchase with Skylight Frames.
When my wife was first diagnosed with leukemia and was in the hospital for 5 weeks, I got her that. And she really enjoyed that, the Skylight frame, and because she got to see pictures of everybody she loved when she was in the hospital. So not just for the holidays, also for loved ones who may be in the hospital or whatever. It's a really cool gift, and I'm glad they're part of the family now in terms of being a sponsor of the show. Anyway, let's get on a much lighter note. Let's get to the Cavs.
Yes, so guys, the Cavs have played 3 West teams so far this year. It's the Lakers, the Warriors, and they played the Pelicans twice, and they beat all of them. So my question to you guys is, who is our biggest threat in the West? We've talked a lot about the East with the Knicks and Boston, and we know Boston is our primary competition here. We play Denver December 5th. Who are you most worried about coming out of the West if we make it all the way to the finals?
Guys, I'm not watching Western Conference basketball much, but it's got to be Oklahoma City, right?
Yeah, Oklahoma City.
Although they got as much to prove as the Cavs do, because they didn't. They had a great season last year and didn't go anywhere in the playoffs.
Everybody wants to see a Cavs versus Thunders finals.
Does anybody outside of Cleveland and Oklahoma City want to see that? Or do we just want to see that?
I want no parts
I
of
think that would be, it's both the future of the NBA's teams on the rise.
Yeah, right.
I don't look at it like that. I've always looked at it like this. Like, I'll worry about them when I get there.
Right.
I've never watched a Western Conference team. It's like watching NFC teams and be like, whoa.
Yeah, we got to deal with them.
Seattle out there looking good. You're like,
You know who's decent in the West? Houston.
Houston is.
They're another young team that's been building.
I know.
But Oklahoma City seems like the toughest Western Conference team at the moment.
Yeah, because
I think they're tied with Golden State for the best record in the West.
I think they actually took first place last night.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
They're 13-4 now.
Chet is out for the year, or is he just out for a couple of?
I know he's hurt.
No, I'll look it up real quick.
Because
I remember.
Because Chet being.
Didn't he break his?
I forgot what he did.
He broke his something. I don't know.
You know, Bull, you know what's kind of messed up, though, is nowadays it's harder to gauge. And nowadays it's harder to gauge whether a team is good or not.
Why do you say that?
Why? Because the regular season is meaningless?
Nah, because it's just a 3-point shooting contest. It's whoever hit the most threes. Like, you can look at the game notes. It's almost diminished the point where, like, I used to watch, back in the day, you used to look at the different styles. Like, the Jazz used to run pick and roll, right? And they was pretty much the only one running pick and roll. Then the Bulls would run the triangle offense. Yeah. And then you had the Knicks that would play all these power forwards, and they were just really rugged.
Right, yeah.
You had you had the Houston Rockets that would play a 1 out or one in 4 out. They would let Hakeem do his thing down low. Then you had Shaq and Kobe. That Shaq was just a beast, right?
Yeah.
So you had all of these different styles that people used to play, and those styles would make very interesting matchups. Now it's like, if I look at the Western Conference, Anthony Edwards is one of the most athletic dudes in the game. Like, he's one of the most explosive athletes. And now it's just like, he realizes that, I just got to shoot a bunch of threes. So now you see
that's what I hate. I hate that.
Like the John Morants and the Anthony Edwards. Now it's a 3-point shooting contest to a point where it's just like, well, I can't tell who's better.
I miss some of that creativity to the basket.
Yeah.
I miss the Shaq and the Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing backing guys down. I miss that kind of basketball.
I miss good, hard playoff fouls. Yeah. I hate this. I hate this. I just want it to go. I want to pour coffee on myself.
I know.
When people doing this all the time.
Yeah, review it.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Well, you flagging down the bus?
By the way, Ty Jerome is feeling himself because now he complains about every foul.
Right, like he's like, hold on. Hey, hold on, coach.
I'm a guy now. What's going on here?
They all looking at their coach. They going to their coach. Hey. Yeah. Hey, look at me.
Every time.
Touch that ball.
Every time.
I'm like, I hate it.
I want to So are you telling me back in the 80s and 90s they didn't complain?
They probably did. But
so what are we talking about?
No. But the game was more. You could get away with more physically then.
They let Kurt Rambis punch Celtics for free. They like these dudes were swinging, like people swinging.
Guys were clotheslining each other.
Wasn't it one of the Morris twins took a basketball and like hit the dude on the head with it like twice, like bang, and the dude turned around.
Technical fouls were so rare back in the day.
Yeah.
That I don't even remember flagrants. It was just technicals, right?
Yeah.
And back when you was watching them teams and the Pistons and the Sixers and all them teams,
it was some crazy fights.
It was crazy.
The Lakers Celtics. Remember when Bird and Kareem got into it?
That was crazy. Remember Shaq and Barkley?
Oh yeah.
When Barkley tackled him?
Yep.
No, Barkley threw the ball off somebody's head, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true.
Shaq is the most disrespectful. Who the dude for the Knicks that he backed down, dunked over, pushed him to the ground?
White guy, right?
Yeah, he did.
Shaq's so disrespectful.
I can't remember his name.
Why he do him like that?
He had his Johnson everywhere, just rank it. He put himself on the rim and then put it down.
Who was what's his name? The awkward white dude that was on those Lakers teams, big guy that played with Shaq and Kobe. He was like a real nerd. He used to dance at the celebrations, and he would look really nerdy and goofy.
Oh, you talking
Mark something? Was it Mark
Morrison? Mark Morrison. Mark Morrison.
Mark Morrison.
Mark Morrison is returning to Matt.
No, that's not Mark.
It is, baby.
See if you can look that up, Anthony.
It's Matt Dog Madison.
Yeah.
Funny because
he went to Stanford.
Yeah, right. And Shaq was like, I heard him talking about this somewhere on his podcast or whatever. I don't remember where I saw it, but he was like, that was it. He's like, we would go places and I would like buy him suits because like he didn't know how to dress. Mm-hmm. And he was like, he wanted to protect, because Mark was like the most innocent. He didn't party, he didn't do any of that. And he that team was partying, and he made a point of like making sure that nobody like screwed with Mark. I just thought it was really sweet. I don't know. I like
the Lakers always got one of them. Remember AC Green?
Oh,
AC
yeah,
Green
yeah.
was
He was a virgin.
He was a virgin forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's
you're not buying it?
What, he was a virgin?
That AC Green was a virgin? Can you imagine being an NBA player and being a virgin?
By Magic Johnson? And Magic was getting it in.
Well,
dude, and in the 70s,
was it the
early 80s, I mean, things were just...
What was the Vikings thing? What did they...
Dustin was on that team.
The train.
The Love Boat?
The Love Boat.
He claims he was not on the boat, but he was on that team. He was a rookie.
Dustin beat them allegations.
He was a rookie on that team.
You know what Kendrick Lamar said? Hey, man, y'all better off having one woman. It's getting tricky out here.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't have no problems.
Yeah. By the way, circling back to Chet Holmgren, he broke his pelvis.
How much?
So he's out indefinitely.
He's out. They say 6 to 8 weeks. I would think it'll be longer.
how
than
do
that,
His injury report from last night, I think,
It
is
says
what I
6 to
found.
8
It says
weeks.
Another 6 to 8 weeks.
How do you have dislocated hips?
It was broken, not
ain't-
dislocated.
Like, how much pressure could you possibly put?
I don't know.
On your midsection.
Well, see, if you
don't know.
if you was using them like that, you wouldn't,
Pause.
what? What?
How do you break your hips? Like, what kind of work was you putting in?
I mean, not a lot.
Gotta come down
Not
wrong.
a lot. I tell you that.
What kind of work is that,
Not a
boo?
lot.
God.
Can you imagine if I came to work and said, "What's up with G. Bush?" Hey man, he got bad hips.
He was working those hips.
Broke his pelvis.
He broke
He was
his
working. He broke his pelvis last night. I don't know what he was doing.
Can you imagine if you had a cast on your pelvis?
I'd have been like, if G came here like that, I'd be like, bro, you tried to show out last night, huh? Boy, you tried to show out.
They signed my hip pelvis cast.
What was it that Fred Sanford used to say? What was his
I'm
wife?
coming to see you.
What was
What's
her name though? Gloria? No.
Elizabeth, the
Elizabeth.
Yeah, listen.
Coming, Elizabeth.
I'm coming to
Pause, Elizabeth.
Wow.
I'm like seeing spots right now.
Hey, do not lose your oxygen level on this one.
Oh my God.
All right,
And we
here
got
we
some
go.
super chats.
Yeah, we got 2 super chats today only.
All right.
Shout
Are they
out to
super or are they
419.
just okay?
I haven't read them yet, actually. So shout out to Evan419. He did give 5 memberships earlier
you,
in the
Evan.
show. And then he also had a super chat. With it being Michigan week, we need a good Tyvis story from the Marcus Hall double bird in the 2013.
All right, give us a story there, Tyvis. Marcus Hall, double
It
bird.
ain't really a big story. I mean, it was. So what happened? So this is what happened.
Yeah, what happened? There it
So
is.
check this. So we was doing. We was on kick return, and I'm not on KOR. We had just got off the field, so I'm on the sideline. And I'm looking, and I see Dontre get the return, blah, blah, blah. He gets tackled. And they, wouldn't get up off of him. So Dontre got circled around the Wolverines dudes. So Dontre, what's going on here? And they pushed him. So Dontre just take off on one of them. He just take off one. So as you know, once the play is over, the offense is coming on the field.
Sure.
So as this is happening, the offense is like, oh, snap, that's one of our guys. So they take off and they get into this big brawl. And Marcus is in there just throwing bows. Everybody just fighting. The funniest thing is they ejected a bunch of players.
Yeah.
Braxton should have been ejected, but they didn't see him. Braxton had this dude by the face.
Oh, really? What were you doing in that pile?
I was not on the field.
Oh,
I was
'cause you
sitting, because
defense.
if I
Yeah,
run
yeah.
on, then they're
Yeah.
gonna eject me. So I'm like, I
Right.
can't help y'all on this.
I'm out.
I can't. I had to save the season at the end of the game.
That's fair.
Imagine
That's
me
fair.
not being there. But
Yeah.
anyways, so they get Marcus out of there. Marcus is frustrated. So they booing him because we in Ann Arbor. So they booing him as he goes out, and Marcus is already frustrated. So he just all y'all, and I was like, yeah.
Did Urban Meyer care, really?
No.
He didn't really
I mean, how could you? At that point,
He had players killing people in
Yeah,
Florida.
how could you be worried about that with his other stuff going on? So that was what happened in that situation right there.
All right. Very
So,
good.
yeah.
Did
Shout
you
out
see
Marcus.
this video? Did you? I didn't watch much of the Monday night game, but I saw a clip of, how they had Luke and Owen Wilson, the actors, on with the Mannings. Did you guys see that at all?
Are you talking about, is this about the Mike Vrabel didn't know, Coach Meyer didn't know who he was?
Well, yeah. Well, Owen Wilson was on the sideline for something, and Urban Meyer was like, "You look familiar. Do I know you?" or something like that.
Yeah, he was like,
and then Mike Vrabel said he didn't know who he was. Did that really happen?
I mean, they coached together for
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
what's
it's Mike Vrabel. Come on now.
Yeah, how would you not know that?
He was probably trolling.
What's the other super chat there?
Last one comes from Ahmed. It says, it's not just the Celtics. We struggle with length. Celtics, Thunder, and Nuggets when Murray is on all have too much length for us. We need a consistent long 3 who can guard. Hopefully that's Jerome.
Jerome? Like Ty Jerome?
Yes.
How tall
That's
is
what
Ty
it says.
Jerome?
Or 6? What is he?
Let me look it up.
Isn't he 6'7"?
Ty Jerome that big?
I feel like he's bigger than you think.
I thought he was like 6'3".
See,
He's
you always think
6'5".
the white guy's shorter.
hey, I will say this: we do
Is
got
Ty Jerome one of those underrated or overrated white guys?
He's underrated right now.
Well, yeah, I think he is underrated right now.
But if he gets a little more hype.
Then it's going to be overrated.
By the way, somebody corrected me. Ty Jerome is actually not white. He is just.
Oh, he's mixed.
He's mixed. He's very light skinned.
Yeah. How tall is he?
He's 6'5", 195 pounds,
he's
according
6'5".
to ESPN.
Hey, but guess what we do got? We do got somebody that is a sniper, 6'9". And
I wonder, when does he
We
come
said
back
defense.
from his injury?
Gee, defense.
I fast forward that. I don't care about that. Yeah.
Best dressed guy in your championship Buckeyes team, not including yourself. Go ahead.
Braxton Miller.
Guy you would want on your team in a eating contest.
Eating contest?
Yeah. Eating the most food.
Somebody on the offensive line.
Hey, those championship eaters are never fat
listen,
guys.
They call themselves the slobs for no. They ain't call
Okay.
themselves the slobs for no reason. Anybody on the offensive line, any of them.
Got to pick one. Come on now.
You know what? Pat Elfline was my roommate, so I'll go with Fat Pat.
Oh.
Shout out to Fat Pat.
That was his nickname, Fat
That's what
Pat?
I called him.
Okay, he didn't mind that.
Fat Elfline is what I called him.
You're in an alley. You need a partner for a brawl. Who are you picking?
For a brawl?
Yeah.
Well, I know my boy Cardell gonna throw them things because he from Cleveland, so I already know what type of time he on. If I'm on the defensive side of the ball,
Yeah.
I need somebody that's just a nut, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Darren Lee.
Darren Lee.
Darren Lee, crazy.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know why I thought he was much older than you, but crazy.
He was actually a year younger than me.
All right.
D Lee, give me D Lee on defense.
Who? I'll like the question I asked Mary Kay. If you guys roll out, who's most likely to pick up the check?
On the 2015 workout team, who picked up the check? That's a good question. I would say Josh Perry because Josh Perry is smart enough to know that he'll write this off on his taxes.
That's it. Finally, who is the guy most likely not to take a shower after a game?
If there's anybody on the team that would do that.
I tell you what, it's been some people that's done that.
Yeah.
Actually, I've done that before.
Oh,
I've done that. Like,
no,
I got to get out of here. Like,
but
it's home games. Like, I ain't even about to take a shot. I got to get out of here.
There's nothing like the smell of a used girdle after
it's
a
bad.
football game.
No, I'll tell you the worst smell. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. We're not going to be able to tell you about it. It's coming up in overtime. We'll tell you the worst smell than a girdle in football. That's coming up in overtime and more next on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.